Hello, welcome everybody. We are here for the playoffs in gold for Zero Gravity Gaming. I am Thousand Eyes alongside Rare Adam on color today and also running the stream. So if you see him looking elsewhere, he's not ignoring me. He's just actually doing work for once.
Are you are you sure about that? Are you sure I'm not just ignoring you? You never know with that, but happy to be here. This is an interesting matchup. Losers bracket quarterfinals, I believe. So should be interesting to see what these teams pull out. Their seasons on the line.
Absolutely. It becomes very, very crucial for these teams because one more loss and they are gone after this. So one team will be going home tonight. And we'll see if it's going to be rawr or if it's going to be going ghost. Both looking pretty strong going into the playoffs, but definitely have not had the best run. We have given the teams the okay to start the draft, so we will be getting underway pretty soon. But is there anything here that you are just chomping at the bit for some of these players to talk about here?
I think for the most part, a lot of these teams are, they've got a lot to prove still in the lower bracket. We've seen some lower bracket runs on the top side of the bracket, I believe, where both of those teams are sort of pushing their way through. But here it is a really interesting run for a lot of these teams. I'm curious to see what they pull out, what sort of strategies they opt to go for. Of course, rawr, with Doki as the jungler refusing to take Flash. We'll find out if they take Flash, because apparently there was some trash talk saying that if he takes Flash, they are nervous. That is what was said. So curious to see what comes through, but I believe it's rawr on the blue side for game one. So interested to see what they opt to first pick. A lot of the times, if you have side select, you'll go for red side, just because there's a lot more counter picks now that are better as opposed to blind picks in a lot of ways. So we'll see how that turns out.
Yeah, we absolutely will. We are still finishing things here. We are getting ours from players and from Adam, because I have to double check on his league name to make sure that it is him, because it does not process for me. But yeah, we should be getting underway pretty shortly here. I'm looking through here and just looking at what some of these players play. I do see a good amount of Shaco on one of the supports here, which does raise some eyebrows about whether that is a jungle or a support Shaco, because it is definitely, it's solo queue data, so we only know so much.
Support Shaco is kind of bad. I mean, it doesn't really offer you a whole lot in terms of utility a lot of the times, despite what the boxes may prescribe for you. But it's a very one trick sort of deal. You just set a bunch of traps and you hope that it works out. It's really annoying. It does that, and that's about it. But in terms of like actual viability, I'm not sure. But we're into draft, and already some junglers being taken off the table from both sides.
Yeah, as actually I do not have the actual draft open because I have completely forgotten here that we changed the draft law because somebody could not process what teams were on what sides. So Wukong being banned, and the Vi as well. Now the Vi one might surprise people, but Going Ghost Jungler does play a lot of Vi and to great effect, so it is very much a target ban there. And the Echo, you could say that rawr is really actually just putting 3 bans on the jungle here for Going Ghost, depending on how you want to view it.
Yeah, and I think that especially since Vi is super easy to execute, when we're talking about gold leagues, you want to find easy to execute comps sometimes, as well as comfort picks. So you want to take them off of as much comfort as possible. Obviously, Wukong jungle has been rising up a lot in priority recently. Vi as well, very strong still. I think it's still a pick that in the right hands can really turn the tides of a game. And then Echo jungle, one of my favorites, just gives an AP threat there. But looks like Veigar first pick. It's an interesting blind pick, but honestly one of the stronger mid laners right now in terms of mages. Can technically go bot lane as well if you want to have an APC, so you have a little bit of flexibility, but it's super safe, shuts down a lot of mid laners, and usually just forces the enemy mid laner into a really neutral matchup.
Yeah, I was talking with a pretty high level coach that was discussing like Veigar is in one of the best spots that Vigar has ever been, especially from a competitive sense, because of his flexibility. He's able to go, a bunch of different builds. You can build tanky stats on Vigar, and because he is infinitely scaling, he'll still put out damage and survive pretty well. He can be that utility, whether you want to put him in the bot lane or in the mid lane with the cage, and his damage will always be there. So Vigar being a great pickup here, and rawr can definitely flex that into different positions. But the Caitlyn Morgana locked in for going Ghost, looking to go for some of the more standard bot laners that we expect to see.
Yeah, and Kate Morg is in an interesting spot because Caitlyn is sort of on the downfall. She got nerfed a little bit earlier from her arcane appearances and everything, compared to Jinx, who is still disgustingly meta this late after the show. But realistically, this pick just controls the lane. You try and have as much priority as possible, but Morgana's in just a really weird spot, and I talked to MXL about it. He's saying, like, Morgana sucks right now. You normally see the Lux come through, you see something else come, but it still gives you that potent one-person lockdown. You do bind into trap. It's really strong in lane still. If they can execute this properly and get a couple of kills, it can mean a lot, but technically it's a blind pick here. Kate Morg, there's no reply quite yet as the Fiora and the Zac come through. Of course, Doki loves to pull out that Zac pick, and the Poppy as the reply to sort of shut down some of these dashes that are already there. The Fiora and the Zac of note already. Poppy has a pretty good time against both of those matchups, but still interesting to see that Kate Morg picked up so early and no reply to come through from rawr.
Yeah, I mean, the Poppy pickup here is great because not only is it great into the Fiora, but it's great against the jungler coming in as well. So that one is a really solid pickup there, and a great response off the cuff to be able to pick that one up and make that work. That said, Zac still does have a lot of power in the jungle once he starts getting points in that elastic slingshot. So it's definitely going to open up some opportunities if Poppy cannot manage the cooldown on that steadfast presence.
Yeah, the steadfast presence block is massive for Poppy. It really just shuts down any sort of engage. It's your real skill expression on that champion, that alongside the ultimate. This could be a Poppy jungle. Poppy did recently get a couple of quality of life buffs, specifically to her ultimate that has the knockup at a full second now on the uncharged ultimate. There are a couple of really nice paths you can take on Poppy as well. Your ganks are pretty nice, especially considering a Caitlyn Morgana where they have a lot of crowd control to set up for you. So wouldn't be surprised to see that as the answer into the Zac, but still an option to be played top lane into the Fiora. But in terms of these bans, a lot focused towards that mid lane. They want to take Kilgar's threats away. Interesting to see the Ahri as a ban, because Ahri into Veigar kind of sucks. You can't dash through the cage and everything, so it becomes pretty straightforward for Veigar to outplay that. But the Vex makes a lot of sense as well. You just go through the cage in that sense. Oh,
so we are continuing on here. Garen seemingly the lock-in here. We're gonna double check and make sure that that is actually the pickup, because that does then push the Poppy into the jungle, which does surprise me. Poppy great against Fiora. Garen not bad himself, obviously, but definitely when you see Poppy as the immediate pick after a Fiora, you kind of expect it to be the matchup. Regardless, Garen does seem to be correct here, as Xerath is being hovered, so this does point to Veigar probably being in the bot lane, you'd think.
It could be Xerath's support. It would outrange both the Caitlyn and the Morgana with the poke, so I don't hate it here. It's just that if you get caught by the bond. Yeah, they could both. It could be Xerath Veigar bot lane for all we know. It would be interesting to see the Veigar go bot lane with the Xerath, though, because it's really easy itemization for Morgana. She can just go lock it into Merc Treads and everything and just build all of that. Never mind, I know nothing. I know nothing about League of Legends. Forget anything I said.
Love to see it. Adam, following in the Brennan footsteps of being wrong. Do appreciate it. But the Yone here, going to be a blind pick Yone, as we still don't really know where what is going to be sliding into the mid lane for going Ghost. The Lissandra going to be most likely locked in and will be locked in. Going Ghost wanting to get that solidity in that mid lane, and a great pick against a lot of the engage that is going to be coming in. The Yone and the Fiora, they want to be able to dance around, and Lissandra won't be able to really allow them to do that.
It's an interesting situation there, specifically with the fact that Yone was sort of just left to dry a lot in that draft. You normally don't see a Yone blind picked in that situation because of the likelihood of something like a Lissandra coming in, which just shuts down the Yone in general. But I'm curious to see what they want to accomplish with this comp. There's a lot of AD on the top side. Really good to see the damage diversification come through from rawr, but going Ghost, they're gonna have a little bit of an uphill battle in that sense. I'm curious to see how it plays out because there's definitely some strong points for them. I think that this Garen can do incredibly well if it gets fed. The Caitlyn Morgana can really control the lane, but if they start to fall behind, it gets a little bit rough. We talk about Caitlyn's power trough a lot, and it gets really challenging to deal with that the longer the game goes on.
Very much so. And this does mean that there is a decent amount of AP focus, especially on this bot lane here. Lots of poke. The Xerath and Veigar are really just kind of looking to stay back out of range, and they don't have great answers for this Morgana binding if that comes through, and Poppy being able to just jump in there. The possibility of Xerath Veigar kind of getting that lane shoved and then Morgana hitting a bind and just chasing them down, it is there. So there is some worries to keep in mind for rawr, as they do have a pretty potent damage source in that bot lane to scale up to.
They have a lot of strengths, I think, on that bottom side of the map that they can work towards. I mean, on both sides realistically, but the Veigar infinite scaling, right? You can just sort of sit there, even if you don't have the best of times in lane, so long as Peter Griefer isn't dying on repeat, so long as Ronan Say is still able to keep the space there for themselves on the Xerath. This bot lane from rawr can scale incredibly well, and especially when you've got a Fiora, which is sort of late game insurance, Yone, which is late game insurance. Zac scales really well as well. You have a lot of late game on the side of rawr. It's just more so if they can translate that properly by not dying on the bottom side of the map, as we were mentioning, because Caitlyn with a couple of kills becomes a whole different beast.
Yeah, she's kind of what we saw a lot of old Tristana, where there is the really strong early game and the really strong late game with a bit of a weak mid game, but you bypass that if you do get a good start with the Caitlyn Morgana bot lane. Let's take a look over at some of our other lanes, though, because we have a Garen in a game which don't generally see even in kind of gold competitive. It's not generally a meta pick that you see around.
Yeah, Garen is an interesting pick just by virtue of the fact that they are incredibly predicated on just split pushing really well, getting a lead in lane a lot of the times, and then sort of joining these fights from flanks and being really annoying, being really tanky, being difficult to take down, sort of second half of the fight sort of champions. You don't want Garen to be your primary engage. I think that into Fiora, it has a decent matchup. It's just very easy for Fiora to read when Garen's going to use the ultimate or when they're going to use the silence. So, you know exactly how to use your riposte there. Poppy as well, coming up there, it's really easy to tell when a Poppy is going to use her dash on you there, because Fiora can just riposte so easily. So I think there's a lot of outplay potential for Devontae on the top side of the map, but Garen can be really annoying, and it can be sort of mental block for a lot of top laners as well. They're just like, I don't know how to kill this Garen. I have one death to my name. I don't know how to lane against them anymore. So curious to see how it matches up, but I think that it's sort of a skill matchup, as weird as it sounds for Garen. You know, you just have to hold off on your silence as long as possible, and you need to use that in sort of the second half of your engages on top side.
Very much so. Now, as just looking around here, there's, like you said, a lot of just kind of stalling out a fight to then re-engage possibilities for going Ghost, and just a lot of pretty strong lane pressure here for rawr. They're looking to get that early game lead and probably keep that tempo up, but it does feel like if the foot gets off the gas, rawr's going to have a little bit of a struggle until they get that Veigar up to his point. But we are going to take a quick break as we go into game one of the night and see who is going to take our first game between rawr and Going Ghost. Don't go anywhere, guys. We will be right back. Welcome back, everybody. We are live with game one as we are taking a look at Going Ghost going down through the bot side, grouped up here. We'll see if anything funky is going to happen level one or if we're just going to get people backing off.
Yeah, curious to see how they want to play out this early levels. It can be incredibly difficult sometimes to really get that edge and push yourself forward, but especially when you've got a Morgana, you might as well go for it, but there is a ward that's going to spot this out. They will clear it, though.
Good ward defensively to be ready for the possible level one with the Morgana. And it will just be the reset from Going Ghost as they are going to just back away and get ready for a pretty standard start, all things considered.
Yeah, I think it's going to be pretty standard on both sides. Nothing too crazy coming out on either side of this matchup. I think that especially when you've got a Veigar Xerath, you're perfectly fine just sort of backing way off and just playing as safely as possible. But it looks like Doki wants to start on the top side of the map on blue buff. Interesting, because sometimes the Zax will go for like a Wolves start into that buff, or they want to get the best leash possible. Realistically, though, Xerath Veigar isn't going to give you a great leash regardless without burning through mana, and that's not something you really want to do either.
And yeah, we'll just be both jugglers on opposite sides. Not surprising, all things considered. If you would expect Zach to gank anywhere, you'd expect it to be helping out this bot lane here that can set him up so very well. And top lane, maybe having Poppy do what she does best against Fiora and stopping those dashes.
Yeah, curious to see when they will show up, because Garen Poppy can definitely mess up Fiora in the early game. You sort of want to take advantage of the early game weakness that this champion has. She wants to sort of get to that item and a half mark before she can really start to do some damage. And interesting to note as well is there's a, oh my goodness, bot lane.
Yeah, bot lane, the cage is going down. Good Faith is trying to get a kill here on Ronin Seiya and chasing him down, but the Morgana needs to back away. Ronin Seiya going very low. Both flash at the same time, but the Caitlyn gets the auto attack down, and Good Faith able to pick up first blood in the bot lane for Going Ghost.
Well played from both sides there. Realistically, there was a chance for Peter Griefer and Ronin Seiya to pick one up. Sam walked into the cage at the end of it, but unfortunately, it didn't matter. There's just enough damage coming through from the auto attacks. Topside, though. Oh, my goodness.
Oh, yeah. Devante is doing some work against the Garen and forcing the flash. No TP on the Garen. Very critically here means he cannot back, has to utilize that passive to be able to stay in lane and go toe-to-toe once again.
It's a little bit unfortunate for this Garen. They shouldn't be losing this hard in the early game, especially. I think that this wave state is going to be really tough because it gives the opportunity for Doki to come to this top side, and Doki's carrying the Ignite, so there's your kill threat if the Zac comes through. Devontae needs to try and get as much poke onto this Garen so that they aren't able to regen as much.
This does raise the question here, if Zac does dive and has Ignite on him,
oh, there we go.
will he continue tanking afterwards? We may find out here. Ignite not even going to have to be burned. Will actually be used by the Garen for the passive proc. But that is all that it is going to be. Zac will form again and walk away. 1-0 for rawr.
Well played. Honestly, that's exactly the spec. You want to have that as your dive threat. You give up the Zac passive to pick up a kill onto the Fiora in a lane that we mentioned was going to be really tough, but it's still worth it in the end. And I think that with the bottom side of the map as well, you know, getting a little bit of an advantage for the side of Going Ghost, you're not too sad about this Garen taking the death, but rawr are definitely happy that they get gold onto one of their carries.
Yeah, this Fiora doing well is very important because if Fiora from behind doesn't help, Devontae using the flash. Very smart play there. A lot of Fioras may try and just go for the dash to get away and get grounded, but smart heads-up play to go for the flash instead. And Poppy will not get anything other than that out of the gank.
Yeah, well played by them, and I think that you're able to burn both summoners now off of Devontae. You give a little bit more room for business time to exist up on this top side. Good pressure gank thrown down by Brendicus, but once again, I think you might just have to try and focus down this bottom side of the map because they're scaling on both sides. You've already lost a little bit on the top side. You've burned that flash. Now try and go to that bottom lane and cut some of that scaling down there as well.
Things going to just clear out here for a little bit. We're going to say getting some poke down, definitely looking to try and keep the aggression up despite the death. And I think we're going to have a little bit of a calm down here for a little bit. Unless Business Time wants to try and take a fight with this Fiora. You are a level down. My friend, going into that, you cannot fight this Fiora right now.
Yeah, I think that it's not too bad, all said and done. Pretty okay situation for the Garen, now starting to stabilize out. But look at this roam down from Kilgar.
Kilgar is level 6, looking for that Glacial Prison there. Her Frozen Tomb. Look, Sejuani and Lissandra, their ults do similar things, and they're from the same region.
Yeah, it's Glacial Tomb, Frozen Tomb, Glacial Fissure. You know, all of the Failure champions, they just sort of like decided to
just figure out something else, dude. Just get a new, like, don't copy other people.
Just find another one, because then there's all of their abilities as well that you have to keep in mind. So it gets challenging, because there's like Arctic Assault, and you're like, man, that's going to be a lot of damage. No, it's just Sejuani charging forward. That's it. Like, they just need to decide. They need to make a decision and be like, okay, we're going to make things easier. You get all the ice puns, you get all the snow puns, all of that stuff.
It's like there's more than just ice in the tundra.
There's polar bears.
There is. No polar bears to be had here. Dragon will reset for a quick second, but should just be picked up by Going Ghost. So the back from the Vigard does mean that they get the dragon pretty freely here, and Magic Lapse just gonna farm with the soul and back away.
Yeah, and of course, the side of Going Ghost pretty happy to pick up that dragon for themselves. They've got a little bit more bot lane prio for the time being. I want to point out, though, that CS is starting to go a little bit in favor of this Veigar and Xerath despite their death. And because there's a huge wave getting shoved in as well, Good Faith isn't going to be able to collect up as much. Run and say it's just autoing down this tower. They should be able to get a plate off of this as well. So not the worst case scenario. They'll be able to keep that wave shoved in and get a really nice reset for themselves. And they might be able to come back to lane and clap this bottom lane now with some item advantage, unless they get ganked.
Oh, no. Yeah, here comes the cage just to block the Morgana, but it doesn't matter. Here is Peter Griefer getting knocked by the Poppy, and flash forward from Samus will get the root onto the Vigor, and that is just a follow-up from the Caitlyn. Easy kill after the roots hit, and Vigor does go down.
Well played by them on the bottom side. Might not be... Okay, yeah, we're done fighting. Never mind. But yeah, bottom side of the map going incredibly well for the side of... There we go. Gotta update the scoreboard as well. For the side of Going Ghost, I need to remember my team names too, because the podcasts are turned off. Yeah, Going Ghost, very happy with that. They get another kill into this Caitlyn, and Caitlyn's going to continue to scale up as this game progresses. If she's got a lead, that's the main thing. You know, you want to try and avoid that one item trough that we've mentioned so many times in the past, and gotta be a little bit careful with this positioning. But if she can get that Gale Force plus one more item before Veigar's really able to scale up and one-shot her, she should be okay.
That's really what it is about. It is about the Caitlyn getting a lead and keeping it. And so far, that has been what Good Faith has been able to do, despite the little bit of lacking in farm early on. The kills have done work. There is the Fate Seal, not going to hit. Brenticus just going to keep running around. Doki going to force the flash from the Poppy, and Magic Lapse going to pop back to his body. Doki now maybe needs to get out of here, as there are two people getting stunned up. The Kilgar is getting a lot done with that stun, and that will be the pickup on one, but it is going to be turned around. Poppy actually picks up the Fiora before going down, and Doki will also fall. Kilgar getting a kill as well as the Yone, so mid laners evening out in that fight.
Yeah, well played, honestly, from the side of Going Ghost. They're able to rotate up really effectively. Yes, you lose Brenticus there, but Brenticus had already burned the flash, so it's sort of the best case scenario in a lot of ways. Business time, okay. But in the end, you also get a kill back on to the jungler and the top laner. Oh my goodness, bot lane.
Good Faith is just juking everything here. The damage from this Caitlyn, the flash forward. Ronan Saya gonna back away. Ace in the Hole's gonna come, but Peter Griefer gonna block it. Samus is trying to get over. Kilgar will just E over the wall. Flash forward for the root. Get the kill onto the Xerath and make his body explode on the Vigor. Kilgar does get out. So 1-0 on that bot side. Once again, Going Ghost keeping the pressure on.
Yeah, and really well played by Sam to pick up that the Tormented Soil, whatever it's called now, they keep changing it as well. It really annoys me because Morgana, it's Tormented Soil. It's something else now.
Tormented Shadow.
Why?
Is what it is now.
But why? It's soil. It's on the ground.
It's not the soil. It's just a shadow on the ground.
But it used to be soil, and why did they change it?
Yeah, well, now you don't max it.
Well, it depends on which role you go. You know, if you put it jungle, I mean, we can talk about Morgana jungle. We'll make someone else very happy who isn't on this broadcast right now. But you know, it should be soil. It's on the ground.
I agree with you. I'm trying to figure it out myself. As Doki is going to go in, not hit the knock up, but will grab Fate Sealed hits, and there is the Frozen Tomb. Lissandra going to stay alive for just a little bit longer. Brinticus going to show up just to watch his mid laner die, as Xerath will chase the Poppy away. 1-0, and I believe it was Yone actually picking that one up as well, so getting a little bit of gold into his pocket.
Yeah, Yone very happy about that, getting a lot of attention to that mid lane. Not sure how necessary the Xerath ultimate was in the end, but, you know, you get it. Cool, I guess that's what you say. And also drop that Rift Herald in the mid lane to get some plates into both Doki, and I believe Magic Claps also got some gold off of that. Now positioning around the second dragon here. Why does it say it's another Cloud Dragon? So it's Hextech Dragon. It used to not give an icon, and now it's giving us a Cloud Dragon icon.
Huh? Better than no icon, maybe.
No icon. Yeah,
I don't know.
Goodness.
Yeah, there is the grounded going in. Doki not respecting the Poppy and going down for it. Good Faith taking some good damage, but no follow-up, and now it is just a 4v4 as Garen is shoving up the top side. Peter Griefer taking the ace in the hole. Oh. Now Samus actually getting pretty low, has to use the Zonias to stay alive, and the Q from the Xerath does not hit, so it is going to just be the tip away, but Devontae going way too far forward. And you can't riposte everything, buddy, so that will be Fiora going down as well, meaning the Dragon should be a pretty quick pickup for going Ghost again.
And Kilgar just going to zone out here, and this entire time the Garen was just on that top side of the map, so really perplexing as to what Doki's thought process was. Oh my goodness. The Ignite.
Not going to be enough. Nope.
Almost enough.
Doki not having a great time on this sack. Had a good start on that dive topside, but has since struggled.
Been faltering just a little bit. I like this invade on the blue buff here. You can get some presence in Kilgar, though. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, Ignite going down on the Kilgar. Kilgar trying to back away. Great Frozen Tube to stay alive. Good Faith, though, does not have anybody to keep him up. Well, they don't get the blue buff. They're going to get a kill, and Doki's going to keep trying for it. See, I think he's going to have to back away as there are some people around looking for him.
Oh my goodness.
Amumus getting a good bit of damage down, and yeah, that is just going to be Brinticus smiting that one to make sure it goes on to the right team as Garen roams down to start working on the next tower.
Yeah, and Garen's played exactly to spec. You know, we talked about how the split push presence is going to be the main thing, and Devontae grouping up with the team a lot quicker, not using the teleport after the fight was already starting to fizzle out to go back top lane is a little bit of an interesting perspective. Going to be able to pick up this tower eventually. I mean, Kilgar don't think they can really stop it. Seems like they will. Never mind. What do I know as a caster? But Devontae...
This is what you usually play-by-play.
Yeah, this is why I'm normally play-by-play, because I can say stupid things, and people are like, oh, he just said it really loud, so it's really funny.
He doesn't need to know the game. He just needs to say things. Now you have to be smart, which is not your forte.
No, it's not. Especially, you know what? It's Thursday. I can't say it's been a long month either, because it's almost the end of the month. It's been a long year. We'll put it that way.
I feel your pain.
Decade. There we go. What sort of euphemisms can we use? Magic claps. Oh no. Okay, they're fine.
Yeah. No worries to be had. Xerath gonna do enough damage to force away the Morgana. Magic claps kind of quietly having a great game for himself. 2-0 100 farm on the Yone, doing great. Now the flash forward business time actually taking down this Vigar. Ignites, tries to get the turnaround there, but the Ignite will pick it up. Business time doesn't even have to watch it happen. But Magic Clap's coming down. You're looking for the Fate Seal, possibly. We will see. Going for it now and does hit it. Trying to get the Garen low, but will not get it just yet. Survives from the snapback. Will flash forward for the W and pick that one up, but Garen pulling a lot of attention down bot side means that Going Ghost will pick up the Rift Herald for all of their worries.
And second Rift Herald, normally it's not the biggest objective, but I mean, if you get it for free because there's 2 members bot lane, it's great. Business time buys so much time down there, and topside as well fighting.
Yeah, and mid lane fighting as well as Rift Herald's going to charge in. Doki having to go away. Devontae also trying to fight this Lissandra, but did not have the mana to do so. And will lose out on that. And we kind of said it at the beginning, but the Fiora without gold is not a really useful champion.
Fiora without gold doesn't do a whole lot, especially with the build choice that she went for. Gore Drinker is normally the better option. I'm just going to say it objectively. There's people who will go by Stridebreaker, people who will stand by Divine Sunder, Trinity Force, and all that. But I think Gore Drinker, because it gives you that extra proc on your passive, gives you another thing to hit it with, it's going to be better. But against the Lissandra, it doesn't really matter because Lissandra's never in your face. Lissandra's just going to be able to kite you out incredibly well. The thing I'm most worried about is the fact that they bought the tier, very likely going to be going for the Manamune, which I don't really like as an option. It just sort of delays the rest of your build. Yes, it means you have more single target damage later on in the game, but it's still such a long way away, and I think
it means she is very useless at the moment.
Yes, that's
and it's going to even be worse. His root coming in, flash from Briticus to get the wall stun, easy pickup. Ronan Saya just caught in at the wrong place at the wrong time. And will go down for the troubles 30 seconds before the dragon spawns here.
Yeah, oh my goodness, business time.
Business time, giving him the business time. Magic Clap's going down pretty low. Will black out the Fate Sealed, ace in the hole, will grab the kill. Good Faith says, I worked for that.
Good Faith, just pressing R, doing the easy carry thing. Probably putting in all
your
like
kill?
Easy mine.
My kill.
Basically, and it gives them a lot of presence around this dragon as well. They've been able to stack these up really quickly, and rawr is starting to look a little bit rough. They're falling apart just in terms of macro. Like the Yone just walking through the jungle with somewhat limited vision of the enemy team. Actually, yeah, no vision on that bottom side of the map. If we toggle that really quickly, you can see it's all in favor of Going Ghost here. They have full control of that bottom side of the map. You can't just let them walk in for free like that. It's really challenging. Oh my goodness, Kilgar.
Predator going to be popped. Kilgar going to stay alive for a little bit using the frozen tube, but will go down afterwards. Devontae able to set that one up for his team. And they try to do something with their time, but now to the mid lane we go as Magic Clap's getting hit by the root. Will just back away, but takes a lot of damage and not a lot to heal off of. So this does mean mid lane is going to be pressured. Bot lane also being pressured by business time. So everybody going for that Lissandra means the macro game is working out for Going Ghost.
It's really rough right now for rawr. They just haven't really been able to make their advantages worth it a lot of the time. You get the kill onto Kilgar on the top side of the map, but you send 4 members for it. You lose Dragon on the bottom side of the map. You try and reply on the top side, but yet you're still losing a lot on this bottom half. Teleport, though, for top side. And Devontae won't even get that tier 2, whereas bottom side, business time, very likely to pick this up regardless.
Yeah, he is just vibing, hanging out. Doki's going to burn that ultimate to try and get it, but now here is Samus actually getting really low, flashing away. Ignite will tick, and Doki picks that one up. Peter Greifer also going down. Poppy ult gets 2 people away, and Magic Clap's just going to tank that ace in the hole. Overall, it is a 1-for-1, but Peter Greifer is going down for the support from Going Ghost.
And this matchup's not one you want. Magic Clubs doesn't beat business time.
Absolutely not. You could see it just existing in the vicinity of the Yone means that he will take more damage than he can put out.
And honestly, really good rotations coming through from Going Ghost. rawr, though, able to strike back. I'm satisfied with them being able to at least try and push some opportunities, push a little bit into their jungle, get a kill in return. Yes, it's onto the support, but a kill's a kill. It's still 300 gold going into your pockets. I think they need to continue to play for these picks. You look at their comp, they've got Fiora, they've got Zac, they've got Veigar, they've got so much single target lockdown available to them, and single target damage in the case of the Fiora and the Yone here, that looking for a team fight at the moment when you're behind is definitely ill-advised. It's only a 3,000 gold deficit for rawr right now, but you're down 3 dragons as well. A lot of the gold that you want on the Veigar isn't there quite yet. The Yone still sitting on about an item and a half. It means you don't quite have all of that burst necessary onto multiple members. You really only have enough for 1 or 2 members. So I think you need to continue to play this pick game, look for some more vision, and try and establish your game plan that way, because in 1v1s, it's still going to be rough as well. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, Devontae not having a great time. Garen, he's a little bit of a strong boy right now, and Fiora still does not have that tier stacked or building towards the finish of that man immune.
And normally you see the man immune come through as like the 3rd item in this build, but realistically, you know, Fiora's going for Hull Breaker next, which is going to help in the 1v1 a little bit, but really only if you're able to push up and do damage to towers is where it's most effective.
Business time once again pulling people down to his location and just flashing away, burning out resources for fights. And business time, he doesn't really need that flash. It's not going to help him in a fight generally. Meanwhile, the Fate Sealed being down does open up opportunities for Going Ghost to make things happen in the other sides of the map.
And it's opening up this mid lane especially. I think this wave they should get this mid lane tier 2. Yep, 1 auto attack. But the fight?
Yeah, Doki now trying to go forward, but there is the bind to get him out of the fight. Kilgar just using that Frozen Tube for the Zhonya's portion, and now the Zac will be going down. Claps trying to go in, gets a lot of damage on a good faith, and we'll just pick him off. Easy grab. Business time's coming around. He wants to pick up some kills. He wants to tell them they need to file their taxes, make them go home and do their work, because it is business time. Picking up the kill on the Fiora, as now they are just going to go over towards this dragon. Wow, it is not going well here for rawr.
Yeah, and business time showing up in the second half of the fight. It's the game plan that we were talking about from the beginning. So we mentioned, you know, Garen does well if they're able to find a flank angle, if they're able to come in from the side. That's exactly what happens. And they find a kill into Devontae. They get that extra kill alongside that tower. Yes, good faith goes down and they burn their cleanse on what I think was a Yone knockup, which, you know, doesn't work, but it's still enough to continue to push forward an advantage. It's about 2,000 more gold going in favor of Going Ghost. They now have control over this Soul Dragon for themselves, and Doki is sitting on a ward. They know exactly where the Zac is. They're going to spot it out, but it might be too late here. It's so hard to get into the pit as the Zac here when there's a Morgana, when there is a Poppy ultimate. There's so many ways to get them out. Oh, that's not the right member, though.
No, that is just the Veigar. Dash gonna come through. It actually gets stolen. Doki gets it. He doesn't have the flash to get away, and he will die for it. But it does stall out the soul for another 5 minutes. Massive steal from Doki on the Zac.
It does mean they can walk right over to this Baron now pretty much for free because there's no jungler that can possibly steal it. But if you're playing Poppy jungle, first thing I'm going to say, stand right next to that wall. You have to stuff that Zac before they're able to get over the wall, because if they're in the pit, it doesn't matter how they get in there, whether they're able to jump all the way. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, Peter Griefer actually picking up the Lissandra while the mid lane tower goes down. But it will be a trade as Peter Griefer goes down to the Morgana. Samus going to try and keep people away. They are 4v4ing this. Devontae starting to show up. Will pick up 1 kill with the help of Ren and Seiya, but Devontae goes down. Fate Sealed coming across. They may actually be in trouble. No, Brenticus picks up the Baron as the Caitlyn goes down. They're trading members to get these objectives, but it's still objectives to be had. And Going Ghost will walk away at the end of the day.
I don't mind that fight from rawr, though, in the end, because you're able to take Baron off of 3 members. You know, it doesn't matter that... Well, it does matter that you didn't get the Baron, but you're able to take it off of 3 members of the enemy team. Now it's only on the Garen and the Poppy. Realistically, they're going to be in 2 different lanes, so you've still got 2 Baron waves pushing, but the stats aren't going to be there for the likes of the Lissandra, the Caitlyn, the Morgana, who are doing a bulk of this team fight damage at least. So Going Ghost going to have to potentially play for this next dragon in 3 minutes, where they're able to reestablish their soul. Hopefully there's no Smite Steal again, at least if you're a Going Ghost fan there, but getting this Baron, it helps a little bit. It's gold. It's preventing rawr from getting Baron of note. So you're going to be able to push forward your advantages from there. So curious to see how they want to split this up with this Baron push. Realistically, it's not going to make too big of a gold dent.
More than likely not, but it is still rawr keeping the stall on business time now. Once again, just making Devontae have a bad time. I think he might be dead again.
Oh.
No, they do push him away. Devontae, you just back away, buddy. You do not go back.
Yeah, it's tough for the Fiora. 1-6 this game. While they've been able to find some pretty interesting riposts off of Morgana bindings or random crowd control that comes through. Oh my goodness, Magic Collapse.
Yeah, Magic Collapse going in good faith, gonna be keeping the kite on, but will survive just barely as Doki picks it up with the smite at the end of the day. And still, another stall from rawr. They are continuing to push back the pressure, and Going Ghost have not been able to crack an inhibitor yet.
It's worrisome for Going Ghosts, I think, because they're letting this Veigar slowly scale up. They're letting this Fiora slowly get back into the game. I'm not saying the Fiora's strong. I don't think she's going to be strong for another 10 minutes minimum.
She has
the rate that she's going. She has Hullbreaker, which is nice.
It's the item.
Garen has 3.5 items.
But none of them are Hullbreaker.
That's probably for the better. I want to say, Hullbreaker, yeah, funny item, but realistically, Hullbreaker is more so to help push, right? It buffs up the minion. You get most of your gold value off
What has Business Time been doing?
Business Time doesn't need Hullbreaker. That's how strong they
But
are.
he's been pushing.
Yeah, he's been pushing. I'm saying that for Devontae here, with the Hullbreaker, it's powers through pushing, and they haven't been able to just get alone time with the tower as much as they've wanted to. Yes, they've been able to get that top lane tier 2 down to 33% HP or lower at this point. They might be able to pick that up, but we look at the bonus damage to towers on Hullbreaker. It's 0 from the Hullbreaker.
It's 0 now.
Yeah, we'll hopefully see it go up.
That's the man. Business Time maybe going a little bit too deep there. Cage will keep Business Time in place. Kilgar now using that Frozen Tomb on Ronin Seiya, but doesn't have the follow-up for it. It will just be the Primordial Burst from Peter Griefer that picks that one up, as the Xerath shots do go a little wide, and they do just lose the Lissandra here. Hey, there's some damage for the Hullbreaker. 177 bonus damage. The item is busted.
The item is finally getting some use, and it's because Devontae makes the right call, stays out of the fight, and a lot of that's just due to Business Time jumping in a little bit too quickly. Granted, 15 seconds away from the Mountain Soul once again. Business Time is top lane. Devontae can rejoin this fight. They're only level 13, though, so they've got to be incredibly careful. They're trying to bait this out.
They are very much holding this out and looking to go for it. No, Poppy is going to back away as the dragon spawns, rather. There is the event horizon to just get some vision in there and see what is going on. And this is actually pretty good for rawr, because they are just looking. Lissandra's going to have to TP in, because now Business Time trying to get in. Will get stopped by the event horizon. Bronticus does go in and has some frontline pressure. Devontae going very low. Primordial Burst. There is the Garen going down, but there is everyone else falling. The Veigar, the Fiora, nobody left alive. Zac going into the passive. Kilgar and friends going to pick another kill up. And it is 3 for 2 in favor of Going Ghost, as they are going to claim their soul point with the enemy jungler being down.
It should be soul bar a miracle steal from Ronin Seiya here. There's no vision in the pit, though. They're going to have to guess on this one. Can see just going to throw out all those skill shots. That's... Oh my goodness, yeah. It's so going in favor of Going Ghost.
That's one of those times where, as a jungler, you want that to hold that for a while, right? Yes. You don't want to actually smite it right at 900 and run the risk of leaving it at 1 HP. Now's the time where you let it go to like 800, 750, and make sure you get that confirmation there. Briticus making sure that that did occur, so good job on that one. Now with the Earth Soul in pocket, Going Ghost hoping to end this match out in the near future.
going to be difficult still because there's a lot of wave clear still to contend with. The Yone is incredibly strong, 6-1 and 3 here, 238 CS. They are the richest member in the game apart from business time there. So there's still a lot to contend with. And in a lot of these fights, the Yone has been able to get as much damage as they want out. It's more so just curious to see how rawr respond to this Soul and Devontae. Oh no, I don't like the signs of this. Oh my
Wait,
goodness.
hold on. Yeah, I think you might start liking it soon because business time, the Hullbreaker, the Mana Mune, it has come online, and it means the split push is there. The Garen, his days are numbered, and his team will be left fighting alone for this Baron. They cannot make anything happen, and now Doki, caught in a little bit of a rough spot, will have to burn the less bounce to try and use that extra move speed and CC to get away. Towers are going down as Doki's trying to back away, but will fall. No passives, so Zach does just go immediately down. And now Devontae maybe staying a little bit too long himself.
Devontae's in trouble. Oh, great riposte.
Great riposte. Devontae gonna flash away, and Brinticus chilling Smite to try and stay in line, but there is no grounded to be had. Brinticus mistimes that a little bit.
Oh man, this is getting a lot closer than I think it has any right to be. And I think going Ghost, they're starting to feel the pressure a little bit. You know, there's still objective bounties available for the side of rawr, which is worrisome because the gold difference is only about 2,000. And it's all because of the dragons that they've been able to stack up. Devontae finally finishing that Mana Mune is massive. It means a lot of damage is coming down. As we mentioned, it's a lot of single target damage. So now in the 1v1, business time has to be really, really careful. The items discrepancy is not super much in... Wow, words are hard. Not massively in favor of the Garen anymore. They've got to be incredibly careful. Look at this.
Yeah, Ignite coming through now. Here comes Kilgar to try and help, and the damage is there. Ultimate from the Garen. True damage does a lot of work. Doesn't matter if you got the armor now. Fate Sealed now coming into the mid lane. Samus is getting a little bit in trouble as the Xerath will help pick that one up. Magic Collapse is the one getting it. 7-1 on the Yone now.
Yeah, really well played to find a pick on the opposite side of the map once again. It's always these 1-for-1s going back and forth, which is sort of favoring rawr a little bit. They're able to find a lot of gold onto the right members, but now Baron going to be started up again. I don't know how much I like this, but Doki's really far away. Your smite isn't here. You're going to have to find a post-Baron fight, I believe.
Oh no, Kilgar great engage and forcing two flashes. Peter Griefer and Rodent Saya, they're trying to stay alive, but the Event Horizon comes out too late. Doki going in to provide some peel, but the Vigar will not be able to stay alive. Brinticus is just barely alive, and now Garen running his way through, trying to get this Xerath down. Magic Collapse going to try and provide a little bit of protection. Fate Sealed now, and it's good one, getting them all knocked up, getting damage down. Soul will pop back, and now business time trying to stay alive. Doki going to eventually go down, but now Devontae has come back into the fight, grabbing a big shutdown on the Poppy, and Good Faith kiting this one out. Now the Morgana is back here. Ronan Saya barely dodging out on the binding, and at the end of it all, it is still just two people left alive, still going back and forth between these two teams.
Yeah, really incredible stuff coming through from both sides. Oh my goodness, Devontae still looking for more, but yeah, rawr have clawed themselves right back into this game. Like, this gold lead at this point, we've kept mentioning like 5,000, 6,000 in favor of going Ghost. It's only 2,000 gold in favor of going Ghost now, and it's 34 minutes into the game, so Thousand Eyes, it's not a big deal anymore. This gold difference doesn't matter as much. They get the shutdown onto Brinticus finally. And this Yone, despite getting shut down in that last fight, is absolutely massive. They've now got the Guardian Angel. They've got the second chance at life. They've been doing so much in these fights, just kiting them out so effectively. And I'm worried if I'm going Ghost at this point because of how much self-peel you've been able to accomplish with the limited champions. You know, Peter Griefer has been able to now buy a third item. Looking at the stacks on them, 204 stacks. It's not as much as you would have maybe expected out of the Veigar, but they're going to keep scaling up. They're going to start to hit like a truck, and especially when you look at the rather squishy bottom side of the map for going Ghost where all of their damage is, Veigar has the opportunities to one-shot some people now.
And yeah, you look at the build now. Veigar has the Frozen Heart, so will be harder to kill, will not be able to die to this Garen as quickly, will not die to the poke from this Caitlyn as quickly. And the scaling is starting to come through. Soul has been claimed, so we're getting an Elder Dragon in about 20 seconds. Both these teams have all 5 members, and they both want it bad.
Yeah, I think Elder Drake is, Elder Drake is gonna be
Drakengard.
yeah, Draken Lord, Drakon, whatever it is. It's gonna be pretty big for both these teams. Well, it's very big. It's a game-ending objective for either side, and despite Soul being in favor of going Ghost, it's Mountain Soul, which is great for being stat sticks. It doesn't really help with just pure damage output or being able to stay alive longer.
Oh my goodness. No, the Vigar caught out by the Lysandra. There's no MR to be had, and now Doki trying to run front line here. Another great route by Kilgar, who's buying so much time. Business time now, though. Going low himself. Devontae will stay alive at the end of it, and now Doki looking to try and get in here, but it's not gonna come in soon enough. Elder Dragon gets picked up, but they do lose 2 people. Good Faith flashes for a reason unknown. Ronan Saya also just getting very low as the Elder Dragon will pick up Doki. Good Faith grabs the kill for that one. And it is 2 for 2 with the Elder Dragon in favor of going Ghost.
Elder Dragon, though, is too big. It's so big here. I don't know if they're going to be able to contest this. You can see Magic Clap's coming in from the side, but you got to be the damage.
Very, very wary of it, as Good Faith will be able to basically 3-tap anybody that gets in range, especially if a headshot does come through. They're just going to take the inhibitor and back away here. You can see the pings on the Baron from the side of rawr, and they're hoping that the Baron is not going to be gone for soon, and it does seem like going Ghost will just take the reset.
Honestly, just some pretty incredible gameplay going back and forth, and going Ghost finally able to sort of lay the hammer there, picking up the Elder Dragon. They've only got it for another minute and a half, though, so I really want to see them pick up that Baron in that time frame, try and force another fight. The gold lead now doesn't matter again because of the Elder Dragon. You're basically playing with 75% health if you're the side of rawr, so you have to concede a lot. They need to just go for Baron. Go for Baron. Wait, go for Baron. What are you doing? Go for Baron. Please. Okay. Maybe they're just setting up vision. That's what they're doing.
Yeah, playing it out slow. There's the far side. They are going to see them starting the Baron, so they know Doki is on the side here. Brinticus needs to be on this smite. Doki gonna hold out. They're using the Xerath for the vision. Here comes Doki, not gonna get the smite steal. And I think that was about as best as rawr could hope for on that. They couldn't take the fight because of the Elder.
Oh my goodness.
And at the end of it, Sarah's actually flashing the stun there from the Morgana, from the Xerath. Brain no worky anymore. And Horizon gonna block out. Brinticus just gonna hold in, tuck himself in tight, feel good about it, and looks like the push will come through to try and end the game.
They need to make a miracle happen here. It has to be up to Magic Claps here. That's the only person who can catch all 5 members.
Oh, there it is. The engage. Samus will go down, and now Kilgar trying to pick that one up. Still alive. This Yone is so very hard to kill with all the lifesteal. That's actually the Garen going down. Kilgar also in a little bit of trouble, trying to zone just for the cooldowns. They hold. rawr still in it.
rawr somehow managed to hold it, and Brinticus, the only one to stay alive with Baron. That was right as the Elder Dragon spawned. Honestly, might have just been intentional. They said, you know what? We know this Elder Dragon's expiring. We're going to go for the fight right now. They're able to find it at the right time, and they're able to put it down. And Doki, not reading the patch notes here, that's a stopwatch in Azanya's. It doesn't work anymore.
Unfortunate. Well, wasn't it that you couldn't buy a stopwatch after? I remember reading it and saying, wait, does that actually stop all cases of it, or is it if you already have the stopwatch?
I'm looking at the patch notes right now.
We'll figure that out. In the meantime, Ronan Saya also has time to look at the patch notes because the damage that he took was probably more than expected as he got caught out there.
Stopwatch will no longer be purchasable if you already own Guardian Angel or Zonya's Hourglass. So you can
I am right.
Double stopwatch.
You just have to have the stopwatch first.
What? That's such a Oh, jeez.
See? I thought the same thing. That's why I remembered it.
It's, I mean, the way that the patch note is written to being able to use stopwatch in addition to having its terminal items can lead to some pretty jarring game states and all around awkward moments. So we're removing that optimization. But obviously they didn't remove that.
We'll find out when he Zonias.
Yeah.
We'll find out when he Zonias is.
Because
we may find out soon.
States should just be unique, I would assume.
You'd think.
That would be how you switch it, right?
You would think. But if that was, they kind of did not think that would through if that was the case. But Devontae also up in this top side. Kilgar doesn't win these fights anymore. Just going to use that glacial path to get out of the fight, and the relief clear still coming through on the bot side. Once again, it is just the one inhib that has gone down in all of this game.
What is this?
It is no. Doki is having a little bit of a bad time here, but Devontae is around. He may try and go for a kill onto this Caitlyn.
No.
Looking for it. There it is. Good Faith getting into a little bit of trouble, but it's not to be had. 2v5 is not a great fight. Magic Clap's gonna walk through that event horizon from his teammate and try and get away from the rest of it, but Doki getting caught out there is massive.
It means that you don't have the jungler available for the second Elder Dragon now that's spawning in 20 seconds. The inhib respawns as there's a big wave in that mid lane, but they can't hit the Nexus towers anymore, so it might be stalled out once again. I think this time they can get 2 inhibitors. I don't think they push for the end unless...
It's very much up to what they feel they can do, but the wave clear makes it very difficult. 2 inhibitors are going to go, and the question now is, do you back away and go for the Elder or for the end? And that will be the call for the Elder from Ghost Gaming. Ghost Gaming. I cannot
Going
speak.
Ghost, yes.
Going Ghost. Danny Phantom Gaming.
Yes. Engage in a Phantom Gaming. Which is what we do in another game sometimes, but yeah, this is the second Elder Dragon. Doki's not even... Well, he is on the map. He's just at his inhibitor right now. Pretty free objective to pick up. And now you've got to worry about those health bars once again being effectively, 70, 80% health on the side of rawr. And they were able to fend it off last time, but realistically, it was the fight directly afterwards. I want to see if they can find that fight again, although I don't know if they've got 2 minutes left in this game. Oh, my.
Oh, riposte used early. Flash is also going to be used. Doesn't want to risk it. And it's also important to note, too, in that last fight, Doki's passive was used. The Zac passive not going to be available for a Baron fight should one start soon.
And I think that's incredible that this... I mean, that viewer just flashed out there. Oh, my goodness. It's just so close at this point. They're playing with fire. All of these cooldowns that are getting burned are opportunities for going Ghost to end the game, but Thousand Eyes, we're still in this game. They haven't ended yet. They haven't been able to just pull the trigger and say, we are going to end the game on this push, and it's starting to get worrisome because it's not so much for this game. This game seems to be like 90-10 that going Ghosts are going to finish, but if you're another team in this lower bracket looking at this, you're like, they're taking forever to end this game. They should have ended this game off of the first Elder Dragon. Oh my goodness, here's the fight.
Yeah, and the Everfrost going to buy extra time. Brenticus, the Primordial Burst used at full health. That does more damage when they are lower. Doki getting low. Everybody getting low. Magic Clap's going to try and turn this one around, but that is a lot of people. Don't want to die here, as the burn from the Elder Dragon will make Magic Clap slow, but will not kill him. Another tower down, as everybody trying to hold this off as long as possible. Elder Dragon's still gonna be alive on those members, and they cannot take a full fight here.
Oh, no. No, not like this.
Doki has since realized the zone. Now he has DC'd, apparently, and it will be just a slight pause as we do figure out what is going on for that one. Hold tight, everybody.
And at one of the most pivotal points in the game, it's 3 inhibitors down. They're looking to sort of get that final push out. My goodness, this is the weirdest time for a pause because it's almost assured what's going to happen, right? We can say with almost 100% certainty that this will be sort of this end game push from going Ghost, but you never know, and you've got to make sure your internet's all primed and ready for this, because if you win this fight,
This is
again, it would be massive.
yeah. This is reminiscent of the space bathroom debacle from way back in the day. I don't know if you remember this one, Adam, or if you were even watching League at the time, but CJ Entis's AD carry had to pause for a bathroom break in the middle of a fight around Baron and just kind of raised some questions of why didn't you do that beforehand? I know that it is a DC, but I don't know why it just popped in my brain as soon as the pause came in.
Yeah, it's definitely a debate to be had. I mean, when you've got medical issues or something, you want to, if you gotta go, you gotta go, right? But at the same time, like if you had to go, if you're like 75% having to go, I don't know, you just do it beforehand, right? Like it's
gotta have that internal gas tank going and be prepared for what is gonna be coming ahead. You don't pull up into the gas station on empty. You take care of that before it hits that point.
Yeah, and I think that it's the same like if you're going on a road trip. It's like, listen, we're gonna be in the car for 8 hours.
We just stopped for the bathroom.
Yeah, we just.
What the hell, dude?
Like, just go pee. Even if you don't really have to, just try your best.
Just work it out.
Yeah, like stand there, do a little bit of a shimmy, and then, hopefully it works, because the last thing you want to do is side of the road or something,
Oh my good
Can't
lord.
confirm.
Okay.
Haven't done lots of road trips. Sometimes, side of the road is just the best option.
Okay. All right. Doki is reconnected to the game, everybody. I'm going to pull us away from whatever the hell Adam is trying to go deep into. And we should be hopefully
this like bathroom debacle first, okay?
I didn't want to talk more about the bathroom. It was more about the fact that it was a pause at a critical time. You're the one that took that and said, I want to talk about people peeing. That is what I am here for. Anyway, game has restarted. Game is slightly paused. This is a bug that we always deal with from the spectator side of things. It is not anything that we are unused to, and it will just start up after a quick second here. But we will be getting underway. Inhibitors down on all sides. rawr are still in this game, but it is definitely just holding on, and there is just constant tempo advantage for going Ghost.
They're holding on by like the lap bar. Like something went wrong on the roller coaster. That was kind of grief. They're holding on to the roller coaster. The restraints have broken, and they're just sort of holding on for dear life. You don't want to fall out of the roller coaster. That would be bad.
You're either talking about gross things or terrifying things. And it's terrifying me tonight.
It's terrifying for rawr, This is a terrifying situation. You're against double.
That's not life-threatening. rawr's situation is just, we might lose the game. Not, wow, I might fall out of a roller coaster to my death.
Listen, it's the roller coaster in-game, okay? We'll just put it that way.
I'm gonna solo cast next game, guys. Don't worry. We'll fix this problem.
This is what it's been a long year.
With Elder Dragon will be falling off before this next fight, but Baron obviously has just been grabbed, so it will be around for a while. And Baron up double supers is even the best wave clearing compositions struggle keeping that up. But with the waves as they are, there will be enough time. You only have the mid lane pushing in at the moment.
You've only got this mid lane push through. They haven't really synced up their waves too well. They're wasting a lot of time on this Baron, and that's sort of the saving grace for rawr in a lot of ways. The fact that, they haven't been able to get these waves syncing up, but now there's going to be all of these waves crashing at the same time. Double supers are going to be incredibly hard to clear out, even when you've got a Xerath who, at this point, probably has the minion debuff or whatever from clearing too many minions, but they don't care at this point. They just need to get these out of the base as quickly as possible. Doki's doing a good job of holding his bot wave, but this top wave now, double stack, double super minions. Das is going to be tough.
Yeah.
Oh my!
So that's why Mage is coming in. Magic Clap's getting on to 2 with the Fate Seal. Good Faith trying to... enough damage through. Will get the GA. Ronin
There's too many
Seiya
minions.
also having to zone. There's too many minions. They're trying to go forward. Business Time is tanking so much damage, and look at them all. You can't even make out where the champions are. There's too many. Doki gonna go down, and that will be game 1 going to Going Ghost after such a back and forth push. Eventually, rawr get choked out and give the point over to Going Ghost.
Really well played from the side of Going Ghost there, just to be able to close out that game sort of against all odds. It was a little bit rough in that mid game. Thousand Eyes, mentioned that. Oh, is it? I think everything's okay. Yeah, as everything closes up. But yes, it was really rough in the mid game there. It looked like they were sort of on the verge of throwing almost, but they're able to right the ship with these Elder Dragons. Yes, it took them a little bit longer than we were expecting. rawr held the game extremely well from behind, but at the end of the day, they're still able to sort of lay down the hammer and put rawr on what is effectively season point. And you've got to win this next game if you're going to stick around in this season.
It was rough. Oh, yeah. Unfortunately, struggling with the League client, wanting to not interact with Discord very well.
Yeah, it's been like this, like last. I think just this patch.
Like
this
2
patch
years.
has been worse. But
this patch has been worse, but it's been around for a long time.
Yeah.
Anyway, regardless, that's behind the scenes stuff. You guys don't care. We are going to take a quick break as we get ready for game 2, guys, but stay tuned. rawr on the edge of being eliminated. Will they be able to take us to a 1-1, or are we going to go home after just 2 games? We'll find out after this break. Welcome back, everybody. We had a little bit of a break to figure out what was going on in terms of players as rawr are swapping out their AD carry for Kryptonic Killer now. And we will see how that changes things up as we get into Draft 2. What are you looking to see change this time around, Adam?
I think that for rawr, there was a lot of things that went right for them. I don't know if their bot lane really did as much as I would have liked to see. Yes, it was rather good at stalling out the game, but it just felt as if the Vhagar Xerath, it didn't really get off the ground. It wasn't really able to have the impact that it was looking for. A lot of that was coming through Devontae finally able to scale up a little bit. Magic Clap's having a great game on the Yone, so top side of the map looked good, bottom side looking for some changes, and with the player getting swapped out, might not be the worst.
Maybe not. We will see. One thing that I actually did go back and double check because I thought about it and was like, wait, that's kind of weird. We didn't see any priority on Swain.
Yeah, Swain
is really good right now.
Yeah,
he just got his changes and that man don't die.
Swain is really strong right now. I mean, they even hotfix buffed him last night. Not sure if there is any Swain players or if there was any rulings behind it. I don't think there would be. Some leagues have been like, you know what, it's basically like a rework, we're gonna wait a patch. Not sure if that happened here, so regardless,
I honestly don't know.
I don't know either. I'm gonna check on that, but Swain is definitely someone to keep our eyes on if they go for another AP bot laner. But looking at this, they're already just targeting that bot lane once again. Caitlyn, Ezreal banned out, Sean taken away from Magic Claps, and Jinx first pick for going Ghost.
Yeah, now remember, this is another champion that was in the patch notes. Jinx previously did have very, very high base health because she was struggling in some other areas previously, and since then she has gotten really strong, so they said, you know what, stop being you're a stick, stop being beefy, and did put her down a peg or two, but she is still going to put out the same damage that she has been putting out for the last couple of patches. Senna is going to be picked up in return. You'd assume this is either going to be a full support or a fasting Senna, as taking Senna AD carry no longer feels good if you are the one farming.
I've heard from various different analysts that farming Senna isn't actually as bad as people say it is. It's not great. I still think that fasting Senna is far superior.
It's different.
It's different. It's definitely different. I think that's the right way to put it, in the sense that fasting Senna really focuses on dealing fast damage. As weird as that sounds, so going for lethality builds, going for Eclipse, going for the like, whereas farming Sennas will often go for the more expensive builds because you get the minions, you know, you go for Kraken Slayer, you go for those sort of items. It's a little bit of an interesting debate. We could probably have, you know, a full 30-minute discussion on which build Senna's right and all that, but curious to see it picked up in response to the Jinx, especially since Senna didn't get any direct changes this patch. Maybe they're more so just preying on the fact that this is a weaker Jinx and they think that Senna can match it a little bit better. Curious to see what the matchup is, because there's Senna Tom Kench, which is the tried and true. There's Senna Galio, which is the tried and okay. And then there's, you know, Senna Wukong, which is kind of off the board because Wukong's banned. There are various different options for Senna lanes. I'd be surprised if this is this is just support Senna going for, you know, a more supportive build with Locket. It is a thing that some high elo players stand by. And I'm just really curious to see what this matchup is. For all we know, it could be like Senna Yasuo. Who knows?
It is possible. Does give a little bit more credence with the pickup of the Silas as well, and the Echo. This does kind of go and goes once again. Have these kind of picks that can go in different. You know, rawr did it last time. They going Ghost this time have the flex picks. The Poppy could go jungle, could go top. The Echo could go jungle, could go mid. And there's still a lot of opportunities to mix this composition around while still having similar champions in those spots. I did want to point out the missed ban from rawr is a Morgana ban. So that one will not be picked up again, and possibly why they didn't go for the same thing that Going Ghost didn't go for a pickup of that. With that being open, it is not open this time with the ban. So bans this time around in the second phase, Urgot from rawr. Going Ghost banning away the Cho'Gath, and rawr once again taking a while, just taking out that Garen. Don't want to deal with what happened last game with that.
And I think Business Time had an incredible game on the Garen, all things considered. Had a couple of slip-ups in the later stages, in that sort of throw stage that we were mentioning earlier. But here, I think that they've got some agency to... I mean, the top lane pool is super pinched here. I mean, realistically, it's 5 top lane bans if you want to count Wukong as a top laner as well. It's going to be down the list a little bit. Devontae last time pulled out the Fiora. Could very well be Sylas going top lane as well. So you sort of dissuade the likes of a Malphite coming through, or even an Ornn coming through, because you don't want those ults stolen away. I'm curious to see what they decide to pick up. Never mind, it's just going to be the Zac again. I'm curious to see where they end up placing these, because what this Zac pickup means that it's Yasuo, like, unless they pick something else up R5 here, we could see something like Senna Sylas. Sylas did get buffed recently, but Sylas doesn't really have a lot of great ults to steal. It does sort of pigeonhole the draft of Going Ghost. They don't want to take any sort of really, really impactful ultimates, and by the looks of it, they won't do so. So Sylas getting picked up there is a little bit interesting, but we'll find out where everyone ends up going. But I believe that's going to be Echo mid lane now with Poppy in the jungle.
Most likely.
Yes.
There is some mix-ups that can happen. Mordekaiser, a couple of buffs back, or a couple of patches back rather, did get some buffs to allow him to jungle. It is technically a thing that can occur. So there is some weirdness that could still go on in that, but the generally accepted meta pickups here would be the Echo mid, the Mord top, and the Poppy jungle. The Fiora are going to be locked in again by rawr, despite going up against what I would consider a similar matchup in the Mordekaiser, who's really good in those 1v1s and becomes a big, beefy bruiser capable of team fighting in the mid to late game.
And Mordekaiser is almost a little bit of a worse matchup here, I want to say, for the likes of... Or Fiora's worse for Mordekaiser, yes. Just because you have a crowd control, and you have a crowd control that displaces you. It's really easy to riposte it. Like, super, super easy to riposte the Death's Hand there. Just the yank back and whatever. So, curious to see how they want to play this one out. I think that there is some outplay potential from the Mordekaiser in this lane, but I'm willing to believe that Devontae should have the upper hand a little bit more convincingly this time around.
We will see how that's going to work out. I think the biggest thing here is Going Ghost don't have as much of... They have the Lulu Jinx, but their late game is not as potent as it was last time around, right? You had the Caitlyn Morgana, who was really good, the Lissandra, who can frontline it extremely well, and Garen, who, while he's definitely known for his mid game, has some pretty strong split push potential in the late game, and his ultimate is always good. You look this time around, and Echo, he can put out some damage and back away, but it's not going to be as effective when you're going up against something that has the wind wall, has the Senna healing, the riposte, and the Zac beefiness. The Mordekaiser, he'll do fine in those 1v1s, but you get into these team fights and it can get a little bit hairy. So Going Ghost, maybe if they hit that same spot, what do they do if they get into the late game here against a team that has some pretty good, skirmishing potential?
I think the biggest thing to keep in mind is that they moved away from the Caitlyn and they moved into the Jinx, right? And Jinx is incredibly strong in the late game once again. It's even stronger in the late game, I think, despite the nerfs, which directly impact her base health. She doesn't care about that when she's level 18. She doesn't care about that when she's, even an item into the game. So I'm curious to see how this Senna Yasuo combo matches up, as that's sort of the answer we're seeing. I don't like it 100%. I think it's not bad. I think Yasuo is better bot lane with a more traditional support, like a Gragas or something. Well, Gragas isn't traditional, but more of like a traditional combo on the bottom side apart from the Senna. But I want to see how it sort of matches up, because Yasuo has to farm here, right? There's no world where Senna is farming with the Yasuo. Like, it just seems a little bit odd to me, and I think Jinx Lulu can get punished by it, but Senna Yasuo, that's definitely a new one, and I'm more so surprised to see that Ronin Seiya here is pulling out a Yasuo as a support
It's worth
player.
mentioning Ronin Seiya is not a support player in solo queue.
Okay. That makes
So this isn't somebody who does play like just supports only in solo queue. So there's there's I see Fiora, I see the Diana. I'm seeing things that are I want to go in and I want to actually just kind of like mechanics people in some way, shape, or form. But it does kind of like bring up that question because I don't specifically see the Yasuo.
And Yasuo is a champion that is hard. I mean, I think that regardless of how people see it as like, the 8-0 or 0-8 champion, being a brainless champion sometimes, Yasuo isn't just the easiest thing to pilot, especially not in bot lane when there's two members to deal with. You're not going to be that far ahead in levels. While you've got some pretty good knock-up support in the Zac and the Sylas there with the Abscond Abduct there, the Yasuo has to sort of make a lot of these plays themselves. And I think when you're paired up with a Senna, it feels like there's probably a better combo on both sides here. I feel like you could have just found Senna plus Tom Kench. I mean, if you're not confident with that, Senna plus Galio, Senna plus Wukong. There's so many other options that you can pair with Senna in a fasting role to optimize both champions. I just don't think Yasuo fills that. And I mean, I've never seen a Senna Yasuo, so I won't speak too much about it, but I just feel like it could have been better.
Yeah, it does kind of like you have the Zac, you have the Sylas, who I believe also does have the ability to get a little bit of funkiness going on for Yasuo, but it does kind of raise the question of how do you best really get this Yasuo into the fights, and it's going to be a bit funky now. Credit where it is due, Yasuo absolutely can run all over a Jinx in the early game with the ability to just dash in and out and just constantly keep that pressure up. Jinx doesn't like to deal with people who are extremely mobile in the early game because she can't really stop it. But I think what we're going to do is we are going to take a break to get into this second game. Could be our final one, could be the setup for a game 3 to see who goes home. And we'll be right back after this. Welcome back, everybody. We are into game two. Teams have swapped sides. Going Ghost on the blue side, rawr on the red side, and this time rawr grouping up for some potential shenanigans in this game two, and we'll see what is going to happen here.
And interesting choices here. I mean, we talked very briefly about the fact that there is a Yasuo with the Senna. Yasuo took Cull to start. I don't think I've ever seen that. I don't think I've ever seen a Yasuo just start Cull, because Doran's Blade is really good on Yasuo in a lot of ways. If you're scared of the matchup, Doran's Shield is a great option. Cull is basically the greediest option you could go for, apart from, like, I don't know, boots for potions or longsword on the Yasuo. So I'm curious to see how this works out. It could get punished pretty easily by the Jinx Lulu, but just because it's, you know, you've got the range advantage there, but we will find out. We have yet to determine whether this Yasuo Senna is actually a good combo or not.
I mean, at the very least, it will give enough sustain for this Yasuo. Magic Collapse and Kilgar gonna just say hello to each other, give each other a little pat on the back.
What is this?
Toki, Kilgar, where are you going, buddy? They see you there. You cannot go this deep in. And he is going to have to burn the flash to stay alive, but is not going to actually stay alive. And it is the first blood. Devante flashing for a reason. Magic Collapse picking up the kill, though.
Yeah, and unfortunately, back-end stuff not working, so we will simply go back to the tried and true. But regardless, it is incredibly interesting to see that play sort of evolve as it did. Not sure what Kilgar was thinking, just walking up for the ward, especially after Sylas had been spotted, because then you're already behind it. But oh my goodness, the damage on the top side is just insane as well. It's a scrappy early game already here, Thousand Eyes.
Absolutely. And yeah, Devante already, once again, struggling in this top lane. Business Time has been giving him the time. And Devante, oh, the flash forward. Business Time actually gonna die for the aggression. That is unfortunate there, as the last of those ticks would have been enough, and the level up Devante staying alive afterwards.
It just really odd sort of turnout there, I want to say. And yeah, you gotta wait for your cooldowns if you're gonna flash under the tower there. You can't be trying to play like max 8 auto attack range. As even still in this mid lane, Echo's still keeping up. I want to point out the fact that there is first strike on the Echo mid lane here, not something you see very often, more so seen in jungle. I want to see how that actually plays out for him, because there is some agency to really go in, get some pretty aggressive trades, get your passive and get out of there. But Sylas punishes a lot of melee matchups. You know, Sylas is able to go toe-to-toe in ranged matchups, which means that in a melee matchup, Sylas can generally get an edge in that sense as well.
Yeah, the healing being really important for Sylas, and when you give him the option to get in there and get it consistently, he is very tough to deal with. But you can see Echo doing pretty solidly here. Actually, wait, there is the aggression. Kilgar, caster cursed it. I'm sorry, buddy, but the Ignite will take him down 0-2, and now 2-0 for Magic Collapse.
Yeah, Magic Collapse getting a really good lead, and this is kind of bad because Sylas, we know what they can do with a lead, with money in their pocket, and Echo, we know what happens when they don't get a lead, when they fall behind, and already it's happening here. Sylas should be able to back and pick up almost a full Lost Chapter if they so desire for the Everfrost or whatever. So whatever item they want to go for, they're going to have a lot of money for that, and this lead is going to start to put Kilgar in a really rough position, only having the Dark Seal with no stacks on it. Yeah, Lost Chapter complete. This mid lane is going to be really rough, and Kilgar needs to try and shove and roam around the map. Yeah,
this does mean that the constant trading is just always going to favor this Sylas with the extra sustain in that mana. And you can see also in this bot lane, the Yasuo are doing pretty good so far. Ronan Seiya staying healthy and also farming really well.
It's really nice to see the Yasuo doing decently well in this matchup. I think part of that is just because it's Jinx Lulu. It's not going to be a lane that does a whole lot in the early game top line. Oh my goodness, no way.
Oh, Devante, he wants it. He's going to get it. A real lucky little vital at the end to help pick it up. And suddenly this Fiora is online.
Yeah, Fiora getting 2-0 and 1 is incredible here. I mean, it's going to be traded for this bot lane or this dragon in favor of Going Ghost, but thus far Going Ghost has sort of come out of the gates a little bit flat. You know, 5 minutes in, they haven't found any sort of proactive plays for themselves here. They get a dragon, which is about the most that they can go for, but even this fight looking a little bit messy. Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, Doki flying in, but not gonna get the kill, not gonna get the dragon, gonna just go down, burning the passive at the same time.
Whoa.
rawr really just having a bad time. Brandicus, I'm not sure why he took that one. Gotta be real.
Yeah, that's my reaction to that one. Give it to the Jinx. I mean, the Jinx is going to be your saving grace in this game, you know. She's down in farm. You want to try and funnel as much gold into her as possible. Not 100% sure why the Poppy is getting that kill of all things. Yes, Doki is not farming as good as they could, and Brenticus has a little bit of an advantage, but wouldn't you rather have two advantages on the map that are smaller as opposed to one slightly bigger one that's not your late game? It's interesting choice. We'll put it that way.
And now level 6 hitting on the Sylas with the Echo ult ready to go. I think now is the time where Echo is going to really have a bad time, because even though the Sylas is low, can't kill him, and he will be able to turn things around on you.
Yeah, I'm curious to see if they are going to do the... They didn't do a cheater thing with Echo, where sometimes on Sylas it's actually really good if you steal the Echo ult, you just reset, you get a cheater recall, and then you use your ultimate to get back to lane. On Echo it's a little bit worse because, you know, it's your entire ultimate, but Sylas, you know, they changed his ultimate so that he can steal it quicker now. I think it's 80 seconds at level 1. He already had the ability haste from Lost Chapter, so it would have been, I think, 75 seconds, 76 seconds, something like that. Regardless, it would have been really nice for him to be able to get that cheater recall off, but nonetheless, still gonna be ahead in this lane.
Yeah, and also Ronan Saya actually getting caught out by those traps, having to flash and heal. Samus using the polymorph for the slow, but not able to get the kill. Good Faith gonna flash forward, not going to actually get the kill with that either. And Ronan Saya and Kryptonic Killer do stay alive in this bot lane despite what looked like a real bad start. Doki also here. Magic Lap's looking to try and do something, but the back away will mean that Going Ghost do not actually get anything out of that.
It's a rough situation there because he burns so much aggressively there. Good Faith flashing forward. Samus flashing forward as well. It's so close. It's almost enough to pick up a kill onto this Jinx, and I think realistically, you know, she got that reset after the Poppy kill there. You know, maybe if you get that kill, you got a little bit more AD, it's enough to push you over the line. Yes, it sounds like I'm picking at straws, but I think in this situation, you need to try and get as much gold into this Jinx, especially when you're starting from behind, especially when the solo laners that will dive your Jinx and kill her almost every single time are strong. 2-0 and 1 on the Fiora, 2-0-0 on the Sylas. You just got to optimize your game as much as possible. Oh boy.
Oh, Devontae wasn't ready for the grab, doesn't get the kill, does go down in the process. Business time. Finally getting some control back in this top side.
And I think it's good. It's good that Business Time is able to get a kill there. I'm not sure where the riposte went from Devontae. Didn't use it that entire time, but now on the bottom side, Brenticus is coming.
Yeah, he is. And now very good knock up to stop the Poppy and keep it alive. As Poppy will just have to back away. Brenticus getting nothing out of that.
Yeah, and rawr on the top side getting the Herald as well. So Doki has been able to pick up that objective for themselves. Not sure if they're going to accomplish anything with it right now. Oh my goodness, never mind.
Yeah, top lane, Doki going in, but I don't know if you want this one. No ultimate from the Mordekaiser, so they can actually go in on this. That will be Business Time going down, and Good Faith actually picking up the kill on the Yasuo in the meantime, and Brenticus wants to go for more Kryptonic Killer, gonna eventually go down. Ultimate starts, does not actually go through. Brenticus happy to take that one as well.
Yeah, the Kryptonic Killer gonna save the cooldown. What's happening mid lane?
Mid lane, Kilgar getting a nice stun. Magic Clubs once again stealing the ult, keeping that health economy high. But here comes some friends. Magic Claps not going to be able to stop that. Ooh, the flash with the E made it a little bit spicy, but Magic Claps does just get out of the gank.
Honestly, I would have liked to see Brenticus just get hit by that. But Good Faith, you're dead. Oh, never mind. Oh, ah!
He is clenching. He should be going down. No, what?
Oh my goodness.
Oh, but I think Ronan dies.
No.
Does he? No. He barely survives. Wow. Okay. I'm a little bit. If I'm good faith, I'm tilted after that. I'm gonna be real.
I almost caster cursed that.
Kilgar. There's the ignite from Doki, but Doki actually gonna fall. Does not have the triumph, so will not stay alive afterwards. Magic Claps just watches as his opposing laner gets a little bit more fed. Magic Claps now also has to be careful. Will not survive the Poppy. This is now a Poppy with a lot of gold.
It's a lot of gold, and I mean, realistically, should be 2-0 and 1. I'm gonna complain about that until I don't know, a kill goes back the other way. But Go and Ghost actually doing a really good job of getting themselves back in this game after a really rough early game. Top side is still going to be a little bit of a boon for them though, because business time behind in CS, behind now the difference between mythic components and a mythic compared to what Devontae has there, and this sideline pressure is going to be immense from them. They're going to continuously push in this top lane over and over again. Business time has to be so careful about finding the right engages because Devontae can just get on top of them and look for as much damage as they want.
Yeah, Devontae wants to take the fight to this Mordekaiser, but it is very critical that those vitals are in the right spot. Devontae still trying to get control back over after that last kill. Dragon going to be spawning here, and we're going to see another engage. Early polymorph. Magic Clap's going to back away, but here comes the engage. Kilgar very far forward, but here comes a big ultimate from Ronan Seiya, and that is actually going to be the Super Mega Death Rocket picking up 2 kills. Magic Clap's turning the fight around, and everything from going Ghost means they are going Ghost. And rawr picking up a great fight for their first dragon of the game.
Yeah, rawr able to ooh. Okay.
Goodbye, friend. I didn't even get a chance to talk about it.
No, but rawr finding a really good fight on the bottom side of the map. They claim the objective for themselves. It's really good that they're preventing the early dragon stacking, because that was sort of their downfall last game. They find a really strong fight. They're able to pick up another kill onto the Echo here. Another kill into Good Faith as well, who's had a little bit of a slow start to this matchup, but once again, top side business time, able to turn around a matchup where realistically they have no right turning that around as much, especially when Fiora's got the Gore Drinker, but she got greedy backing.
Yeah, now Kilgar having to burn the ult just to stay alive. Minions are not going to be enough. Burnticus just going to show up to make sure that there is somebody protecting the tower. Devontae not using the riposte just yet. Will start the ultimate, starting to get those vitals down. That's all of them. Devontae healing a lot and gonna burn the flash from business time.
Oh,
here comes the ulti. Push that away. That actually might come back to haunt, because that means Rift Herald gets another charge.
Does Rift Herald charge again?
I believe it would. It's just
no.
Okay, no,
Yeah,
it doesn't.
it just
I didn't know how that worked, I'll be honest.
Yeah, I think what can happen sometimes that's really weird. Oh, nice. Is that if you ult the Herald as it's on its charge, it'll like get knocked back, and then all of a sudden it'll start like gliding across the map. Weird stuff happens with the Herald. That's all I know when it gets like knocked around in any capacity. It can get pretty silly.
Look, as a Bard player, I love when people use the Rift Herald near me. As Ronan Seiya gonna follow up on this route, get the knock-up, follow up with the ultimate. A Good Faith is exhausted, trying to kite this one out. Maybe starting to turn it around, but Kryptonic Killer is pretty healthy. Her heal gotta be burned by Samus. Kryptonic Killer, here comes Kilgar. Gonna just have the flash burned, but it's not enough. Kilgar gonna take the kill on the Senna and walk away 300 gold richer.
Well played, honestly, by Kilgar to find the rotation there, but Doki coming over the wall.
Doki going in, flash immediately from Good Faith, but he walks back in a little bit, gets grabbed by the Zac, and now Ronan Seiya is ready to go, going forward, going on to Kilgar. He's ignited. He's got to be very careful here, because there's the stun ready. It's an ult burned, but not going to be getting any kills.
Yeah, honestly, well played by Ronan Seiya to find the re-engage there. I think Doki's probably
that close to the tower, buddy.
Yeah, I think Doki was probably like, hey, why don't you ult off of my my knock up there? It's like, well, I didn't have it. I used it earlier, but oh, Magic Claps maybe greeting a little bit for the tower. Gonna immediately grab the Echo ult and back away. Does not have mana. There is the Jinx ult, not gonna get the kill. Blast Cone over. I think Magic Claps is just trying to buy as much time as possible. Will actually hit the root. Doesn't hit onto the Echo. Wouldn't have killed anyway.
But does just go down. Shut down for Echoes. All of a sudden, Kilgar starting to feel pretty happy here.
Yeah, I think they might have been able to turn it around if they had the Kingslayer, enough mana for Kingslayer there.
I think he did.
Yeah, I don't think they did either, but, you know, the hypothetical potentially could have, I don't know, something could have happened. You know, maybe they just magically have clarity.
Isn't that just life?
Yeah, so sometimes things just happen. Sometimes you're like, well, maybe things would happen, and if they do, then they do, and if they don't, then they... I'm going to stop talking.
Friendly reminder that Adam makes money doing this. So we are gonna see the teams just kind of slow things down for a little bit here and get ready for the next dragon that will spawn in a minute 20. Looking at the teleports, neither of the top laners ready for this one, and it may just be a 4v4.
Yep. Also of note, Doki has QSS as their pickup here. As someone who plays Zach, I feel like you would just never get ulted by Mordekaiser a lot of the time. Or if you do, you would be able to stay alive. I suppose it's for objectives if, you know, the Mordekaiser's trying to prevent the
that's
steal.
very true.
Yeah, I think that's the only thing. Like, that's the only thing I can think of, but it's very niche. It's a very niche situation.
Well, we do enjoy niche things, as speaking of niche, the Fiora in the top side still holding her own against the Mordekaiser. Ooh, this dragon is... They are looking for something. They want to grab a pick hard.
They're just lurking, and I think that... Oh my goodness, this can be really scary. Oh, Samus is not in a good spot. Oh.
Yeah, now Doki showing himself, looking to go in. Trap's going to be burned. Good Faith does not have any self-peel for the next couple of seconds.
And DCAM keeps bringing us to top lane. Top lane's not that important. Look what's going on here.
Oh, Doki, now Ronan Saya going on to Brenticus. That's not the person you need to hit, though. Good Faith trying to kite out now. Will be getting hit by the Zac Q. Ronan Saya is now on. That is the Jinx going down. Not able to get enough protection. Kilgar going forward, ulting out, and now waiting hands for Kryptonic Killer, looking for the fight. Meanwhile, topside, Devontae fighting this Mordekaiser. Gonna get the proc on the ultimate, and maybe try and turn this one around. He's doing a pretty good job, and it will just be the top laners backing away. He's thinking about it. He wants it. He's going over the wall. It's a little too soon. He's blocking a lot of those, and it will be the Yasuo picking it up. Doki actually did not have smite for that.
That could have been really bad for the side of rawr if they just gave that up. But in the end, they're able to... Oh, nice. They're able to find the kill onto the Poppy going over the wall, and yeah, secure yourself your second dragon. It's really good to see out of rawr that they're able to execute this game, and I think that's the main thing that was missing last game. They had it in sort of that throw stage that we were mentioning, that they were finally able to find some execution plays, but thus far this game they've been able to keep themselves alive for more of this game, which, as slight as that sounds, it is a good thing to see them come through, because last game it was a case of they found some good fights. It's just that they would lose one too many members, or they wouldn't find fights at the right times, and they would end up dropping the ball off of that. But now they've got themselves a 5,000 gold lead at the 19-minute mark. They've got scaling on their side. I mean, Senna scales well, Fiora scales well, as we mentioned. Silas is incredibly strong at the later stages of the game, where you can steal 2-3 ultimates in a fight. And Yasuo's no slouch either, so it's not as if the scaling is super one-sided. Yes, there's a Jinx that you've got to worry about, but Doki here, got to be careful.
Doki getting grounded, getting hit by the traps. There's so much crowd control holding him in, but now the passive is going to come. Will they be able to actually get the kill? No, the team is here to protect him. It's this time looking to get in on it, but Kilgar also helping out. Shutdown going to the Mordekaiser. Magic Collapse actually getting the Mordekaiser ult put on him after the Echo Ward is used. Magic Collapse trying to actually fight this one out, and he's winning, as the tower will keep him alive. Kryptonic Killer also tanking a lot here in the fight, but overall it is just Doki going down at the end of the day.
And the QSS there, I mean, it's great that you have it. Doesn't really help you in these skirmishes, and that's sort of the niche situation. If Mordekaiser isn't there at the beginning, the QSS is kind of useless.
Yeah, fight starting out again as Senna's gonna get caught out. Kilgar takes that kill for himself. Magic Clap's trying to buy time before this TP comes in, stealing the Lulu ult for the fight, but they do not actually want to go in on this. Ooh, Good Faith actually burning the flash. I think he was clear of it, but it was close.
Yeah.
Wants to stay alive here. Very important that this Jinx is kept alive.
And I think that it's good that the Jinx has been able to output as much damage as they have. Good Faith's positioning and stuff has been quite impressive thus far. Curious to see how the next couple of fights turn out as well, though, because, you know, these now there's 2 QSSs picked up, one of the Yasuo as well. This one makes a little bit more sense because Yasuo builds it into a meaningful item. You know, I think that the QSS on someone like Doki who doesn't have boots yet, I think maybe you pick up the boots instead. Just the hunch. It helps you move around the map a little bit quicker, and especially as a jungler, you want to be able to be in as many places at once, but it's the tax that I guess they're paying for the Mordekaiser. So if we look at the gold difference, while it says 3 and a bit thousand, it's more so like 1,000 because these QSSs only provide you, what, 30 MR? It's more so for the active that they're balanced around, and it's only for one person. Like, I don't think you're really ever QSSing an Echo Stun. And if you are, it would be because you're going to die otherwise or something like that. It's basically just for Mordekaiser.
It is. And I mean, it can be important in these objective skirmishes, but it definitely feels like it should be a little bit under prioritized over the boots, Magic Clouds. Just wanting to feel a little bit bigger, walking around, feeling tall.
Yeah, it's a little bit weird coming through, but we'll just continue to see how it progresses. And I don't know. I
mean, I am curious what the actual boots pickup will be from Doki, right? Because there's a lot of pickup of cooldown boots, because the more time you use spells, the more times you can actually heal yourself by picking up the blobs. There is just the tankier boots options for that tenacity and for the for all the other stats that you can get from those boots. There's a lot of options that Zach can go to.
There's the forbidden tech as well if you want to talk about Sork shoes. It is a thing on Zach. You can do it.
Oh no, it is, because he does have really good base damages.
It's forbidden for a reason though. Like, you won't see it very often, but I'm curious to see what it is as well, because realistically this QSS could have easily been Merc Treads, and then you have the movement speed. Simple as that. And we can go into all of the specifics behind it, but maybe Doki's gonna make use of it here. Yep, there you go.
Yeah, Doki immediately, there we go. There is exactly why we see the QSS. And the Mordekaiser are all essentially wasted before this dragon fight begins.
I mean, at the same time, it's also Doki not having the QSS for anything else now, so if they get crowd control, they're in trouble, but oh my goodness.
Yeah, Doki getting grounded, not going to actually get the knock up there, and now Doki tanking a lot of damage. Cryptonic Killer not able to get the heal through. Ronin Saya can't get into the fight, but now the heal from the Fiora ultimate is massive. The shields from the Senna. Magic Claps is back to full health going in. That healing was all they needed. They're going to clean it up. A triple kill for Magic Claps, and he wants to go forward. Devontae trying to see where the Lulu is. And that will be actually Dragon being picked up by Ronin Saya, and they might go for the Baron on the opposite side of the map.
And just really, really split decision there from the side of Going Ghost. I think the biggest thing was Kilgar died in that fight. They were the first one to die. I believe they had the Fiora ultimate on them. They did not use their ult. They could have ulted and gotten out and gotten on top of Cryptonic Killer, which most likely would have killed the Senna, but unfortunately, I think might have been crowd controlled, wasn't able to get out alive, and now they lose Infernal Dragon, Soul Point. They also lose this Baron with, no jungler around. Doki just gonna yeet over the wall and pick that one up, and all of a sudden, rawr looking incredibly strong here. They're looking to push this one to game 3, and might not just be rawr season on the line if they keep going at this pace. Could be Going Ghost, who are about to give up the ghost.
Yeah, it's gonna be a rough uphill battle for Going Ghost, as even though the kills are only down 5, you look at the actual gold value here, and it is about 7,000 gold that they are down, and that is a very substantial amount. You're talking about a difference of 3.5 items across the team with that. That's really, really good.
And I mean, you can see the difference in items just even through the junglers here, despite how much flack we've given for this weird Zac QSS purchase. I mean, they are still up in items apart from that. There's still no boot. Toki, buy boots. Please. I'm begging you. He
Don't gotta move fast. You fly through the air.
But okay, but then what happens when you literally do anything else on Zac? You're just walking around like the slow big old blob.
Speaking of just walking around, Magic Lap's not going to be walking around. He is going to go into the fountain for a couple of seconds to think about what he did. He dared to breathe on the property that was going ghosts, and now Doki going around this Poppy, actually, and going forward. Devontae actually going to get pushed away. Kryptonic Killer taking a lot of damage. Good Faith maybe thinking about going for the ult. Yeah, he wants it. He wants to get just a little more damage, but the Senna heals will come through and will keep herself alive.
Yeah, and it's just that one Ocean Dragon as well that's helping with the regens, but oh my goodness, this fight is messy.
Yeah, Brenticus is actually taking a lot of damage. Kryptonic Killer is a problem, and Devontae wants to help. Good Faith way too far forward. The burst is huge. There is Samus getting hit by the Ignite for the Vision, and Ronan Say is going to walk up and do his job, take the kill. And now, rawr, walking with pride all over this map.
This is an interesting angle now because just way too far up from Good Faith there. They get punished for it. And meanwhile, Ronan Seiya on this Yasuo have just been able to farm up a Storm, split push basically this game. Gonna use that QSS to get out of the Mortal, but fighting in the mid lane again.
Now Kryptonic Killer trying to stay alive. The ult will help. Ronan Seiya taking a lot of damage to the bot side. Magic Clap's just gonna take that Echo ultimate for the aggressive plays. Not gonna get it this time.
Oh, okay. Another one from Good Faith from downtown. That's the second rocket they've landed. It's pretty good. They've been really on point with these ults.
Very, very good stuff. Yeah, Good Faith has looked, outside of that last fight, looked really good on this Jinx. It's just been a hard game to play when you have Silas, Yasuo, Zac, and Fiora. Like, it is so hard to play in a mobile AD carry. Brenticus gonna actually walk in on Devontae, and that is going to be the Echo falling in. Kilgar trying to get this kill before Brenticus goes down, and that is not gonna be enough. Devontae actually gonna turn that into a 2v1 win for the Fiora, and Kilgar just sadly has to watch his mid laner die.
Yeah, a little bit of an unfortunate situation for them, but they'll maybe be able to defend this. I mean, it is 9,000 gold or 8,500 gold in favor of rawr, but oh, this might be the turn they're looking for.
Yeah, Magic Clap's going very low, but the Echo ult actually going to walk into the traps and getting pretty low. Kilgar going to use his own ultimate. Says, that's mine. I know how to use it better. Devontae going to have to run away. Good Faith flashing forward, using that lethal tempo as much as possible. Riposte, not going to be enough. Good Faith gets a shutdown of about 500 gold. And now Jinx getting a little bit more income to be the threat that she is meant to be.
And it's good because we mentioned that this Jinx needs to be that late game carry, and a lot of the times we just haven't been able to see her stay alive long enough. But picking up a couple of kills there, working towards that Infinity Edge, once she accomplishes that, she's going to be dishing out massive damage. But in the meantime, business time.
Yeah, business time. Gonna use the ultimate to try and get Kryptonic Killer, missing the Qs and not winning this fight at the end of it. Will actually be able to get the kill, comes out of it, and immediately Ronan Seiya hits that last breath and takes Mordekaiser down. But now, still, Good Faith and friends ongoing Ghost. They are gonna pick up their second dragon, denying this soul for another couple minutes.
Able to deny that asset, I want to say, for them, and it's good. This is extending the game out even longer to give more time to Jinx. I think she's got enough gold for the Infinity Edge. Yep, she should be resetting for it right now. And it's good because now in this upcoming fight, you're going to have as much damage as you need in a lot of ways. It was an interesting choice to go for the likes of the Runeon's Hurricane as opposed to something like a rapid fire cannon or something else. But once again, I think it is a good angle for them to try and funnel this Jinx as much as possible, because There's a lot of damage that's going to come from the dive here. I mean, Yasuo's going to dive into your backline. Silas is going to dive in. Zach, the Fiora is going to dive. Good Faith just needs to stay alive, and if Good Faith is able to stack up that lethal tempo and dish out as much damage as, like, if they're given 3-4 seconds untouched, now they have this infinity edge, they should be able to wipe the fights.
So now we are just kind of in a holding pattern for the next couple of minutes. Outside of some solo kills, we're just waiting for this Baron to be started. Samus is really thinking about trying to go for this Baron, trying to clear out those wards. And Devontae has the Hullbreaker, has the Mana Immune, all stacked up once again. So now the Fiora is that side lane split push pressure. And I would argue that in this game is even more of a problem because the Garen at least had the inherent beefiness and the inherent damage in response. This time it feels like the Mordekaiser is going to want those longer fights that the Fiora will not give.
Fiora's just able to stalk her prey on the bottom side. You can see Mordekaiser just walks right by, but yes, Fiora sitting on 3 items. She's at that point in the game that we saw last game where she was able to 1v1 that Garen despite how fed they were, but business time, oh my, let's see.
Yeah, Devontae starting the fight, puts the ultimate down, that grand challenge coming through, but Kilgar going for a grand challenge himself. There it is, Devontae is winning that bot lane fight as we check back in. Business Time is just trying to buy as much business time as he can. No, he is going to be flying coach very soon as the Fiora just chases him down, puts him in the ground, and makes him think about his actions.
Yeah, 1-for-1 works out well, I want to say, in favor of going Ghost because they're able to get a kill onto the Senna. They're able to get some more control over this Baron area. Oh my goodness, here is the fight.
Yeah, coming in, Magic Clap's immediately getting really low. Lulu ultimate knock up and the follow up from the last breath. Ronan say a massive Magic Clap's going in, getting the kill and flashing out. Brinticus and Samus are too far away to kiss, but lovers be damned. They may meet each other in the afterlife. Ronan Saya chasing, flashing over the wall. We'll get polymorph, but, you know, there are minions there. Samus, you are going to go down, my friend. And on the other side of the map, Devontae split pushing his team to the victory. This may be the end of the game unless Brinticus and Business Time can pull off something massive.
There's no ult on the Mordekaiser, but even then, it's not the best case situation because they can just take all of the Nexus from the afterlife, but it might be.
Yeah, Ronan Saya gonna actually go in for another last breath. Low cooldown on that ultimate. Brinticus is hanging around. Zonya's not gonna be enough, and Brinticus goes down. Doki is still going to stay alive, and rawr take game 2. They win. They come through, and they're going to try and keep their hopes alive because it is game 3. It is the final game of the night. And after this next game, one of these teams is going to be going home.
Just an incredible game coming through from rawr to be able to get back up on their feet and find themselves this game to victory. And a lot of it just came down to really good execution. I think Doki had a really good bounce back game. They were able to have a lot more impact on the Zac this time around. And Magic Collapse in the mid game, once again, repeating a strong performance from last game. Substitution be damned. You know, Kryptonic Claire came in and did their job on the Senna, but the Yasuo bot lane really ended up working out and, you know, putting me to rest a little bit by just saying, you know what, Senna Yasuo, it works.
Yeah, I mean, the Yasuo felt like it was never in, like, the weakness of that is supposed to be Yasuo is a melee character in a ranged matchup. It's supposed to be pretty difficult to handle, but overall, it seemed like the Yasuo was fine, and a lot of that, I think, had to do with the extra healing from the Senna. It was really hard to actually poke him down with somebody that's as weak early on as Jinx is, and the healing was enough. Yasuo hit that late game, was incredibly strong in those last couple of fights with all of those ultimates and cleaning up afterwards. Massive stuff, and rawr having the mental fortitude to come back after a long game 1 loss where they just kind of got choked out and pull back the same thing back on their opponents in game 2.
Yeah, I think that them being able to get back on their horse a little bit and clean up their act really paid off because we saw the flashes of it in game 1. We saw a lot more of it in game 2, and if momentum is to speak for it, rawr looking really good for game 3, and I think going Ghost, they need to reevaluate how they want to play the map, maybe put a little bit more onus on this bottom lane, because thus far, both games, this bot lane has sort of been self-sufficient. They've been kind of left to their own devices in a lot of ways. They haven't really been focusing around the bottom side. It's been more so about Kilgar, Brenticus, and Business Time on the top side trying to figure things out, but curious to see if they can maybe put some more eggs into the good faith basket, because they played well. They played incredibly well, and regardless of that, it just wasn't enough. They weren't given enough resources. They weren't given enough time in this game to really have as much impact as they wanted.
Well, we will see what is going to happen now, because these teams need to take a break to get ready for our final game of the night. And we will see how the teams are going to come back for game 3. Don't go anywhere, guys. One of these teams is going home, and you want to see who it is. Hello and welcome back, everybody, to Game 3. Adam got sick of me, so we now have a new color caster in BZ Steve.
Nope. Delete tweet. I mean, yeah, I'm excited to be here. I think this series has been really fun to watch. I was obviously casting the other series tonight. Ended up 2-1 in favor of G&E, for those of you curious. So the winner of this game will be playing G&E Aquamarine next week. Gonna be a fun one.
Yeah, but I mean, this is do or die for these teams tonight now. rawr just took Game 2. Game 1 was a slow but pretty dominant chokeout from Going Ghost. So now these teams, after having success both ways, are going to be looking to see what they can do as the picks and bans have gotten underway. Nothing too surprising in these bans, as we have either seen these be good or have had these banned the entire night. Senna gonna be the first pick for rawr, and Misfortune is the response.
Yeah, a little weird to me to see that, especially knowing you just played against Senna Yasuo. And Yasuo, like, dumpsters Misfortune. It is not a fun time. You can just win while bullet time, and all of a sudden she's a useless champion. So interesting to me that they opt into two champions that need to dodge a wind wall, basically. This feels like it should just be, once again, the Yasuo locked in for rawr. They play that Senna Yasuo lane once more, and probably just take another comfort pick for Doki. Oh,
they want to get the Fiora. That has also just been picked the entire night. And there is the Yasuo as well. So some quick picks. Nope, they're going to troll me. I'm not going to talk about hovers anymore. No, they just want to make you upset with that. Okay, well, let's just talk about the Fiora, because the Fiora has had its ups and downs tonight. We saw it get absolutely stomped in the early game versus a Garen, and then come back late game and be a really strong duelist that could not be dealt with. Okay. And then you look at Game 2, it kind of went similarly, where the Fiora just really struggled until all of a sudden the Mordekaiser could not handle her anymore. It seems like what they're going for is just a really weak early game top side and try and do what they can to get this Yasuo going, or their mid laner generally.
Yeah, and I was a little hesitant when they didn't just insta-lock Yasuo. I'm glad they did opt back into that one. Again, the matchup's just too good to not take, in my opinion. But Brinticus and Poppy, name a better duo. I will wait. Don't say Vi, that doesn't count. But solid pickup, does well into Fiora Yasuo as well, and has looked fairly solid for Going Ghost over the course of the split. Not too surprised to see that picked up here. No Trundle for Doki, so yep. And I'd expect even potentially like a Hecarim ban to come out as well. Just more stuff that would enable the rest of their team to really pop off in this game.
And take away the champions that enjoy playing without the flash, so that Doki must play something that does not like having no flash. Is the Garen and the Urgot taken away, maybe opting into this Mordekaiser matchup once again for this top side, because there were some bright points for it, but now the question does really become, can the Yasuo Senna do well enough in that early game to make it to that post 6? The Malphite pickup now. Going Ghost saying, you know what? The bruises aren't working. Let's go for a tank that can very quickly become something Fiora will struggle with.
Yeah, and I'd almost like to see something like an Orianna come out. I mention this every broadcast, right? You have these like AoE Wombo team fight comps, and Ori does need to get a little bit off the ground, or at least not fall too far behind in the lane phase to really be worth picking up. But Sylas locked in, that's not necessarily a great Orianna matchup, so we'll have to see if that's going to be the call, and potentially whoa.
No,
Doki Diana?
That tracks. I mean, Diana would be a very good pick to go with the Yasuo. It's great setup. Even if she doesn't hit the Q, she can just ER, and immediately Yasuo can follow through on a lot of damage. So we will see. Nope, gonna be the Amumu, the classic.
Makes more sense.
The classic Doki Amumu. And there is the Anivia that was hovered by rawr. Seemed like they kind of had an idea it was coming.
I feel like I just casted this exact game, actually, considering... hold on, I'm actually going to pull up the match history. No spoilers. Well, I already said who won. But
No spoilers on who's gonna win this game.
oh well. Yeah. So the difference was, I mean, it was an Anivia and a Misfortune for the carries. Orin, Amumu, and Nautilus were the rest of the team. So this time around, at least, you know, slightly different champs. We got Malphite, we got Leona and Poppy. I mean, it's just the same comp. So we'll see. I think rawr, though, has kind of that solo queue flair to their composition, right? You have a bunch of different tools that can kind of work well together, but it really will depend. Silas, as a response to Malphite, when you are paired with a Yasuo as well, is just, it's so devastating. It's going to be so hard to actually deal with for going Ghost this game.
Yeah, it's definitely not a fun time, but there is a lot of setup going Ghost have, right? You have the Leona, you have the Malphite. Either one of those can be the one to pull the trigger, and if that Yasuo does get caught by it, Misfortune's going to get a lot of that ultimate down before the wind wall can actually hit. And I do also want to remember that this is Doki on the Amumu. For better or for worse, he's not going to take that flash. So he is going to go and take the ignite. He's not going to have the ability to use that flash Curse of the Sad Mummy that can be really useful in those team fights sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. Maybe Doki's been practicing the flash tech for this moment. I mean,
I don't think he's unlocked it yet.
It's Doki, so probably not. But you never know. Could be something spicy to see where Doki just like suddenly has a change of heart. But the Poppy matchup as well into Amumu is actually not too bad. You end up being able to cancel out that bandage toss, the little dash portion of it as well. So especially if you don't have flash, like, it's not the end of the world because you'd be grounded anyway. But we'll see. I mean, the team fighting from both sides is fairly strong. Of course, there's the Malphite Yasuo combo that Silas can pull off for rawr. On the flip side, Malphite and Nivea Misfortune also really like that. But I mentioned this during the draft as well. Yasuo shuts down a lot of what Misfortune as a champion looks to do. So it seems really odd picking that, knowing full well they just pick Yasuo into it every time.
Yeah, it definitely is going to be, once again, a struggle, because the last time we saw it, it was with a Jinx against the Yasuo, and that can, the immobile 80 carries against Yasuo can be a problem. You're struggling to deal with, you know, the Yasuo's mobility and capability of getting in on you. The move speed will help, but if this Yasuo gets onto the MF, there are not a lot of options to get him off.
Yeah, I mean, the best options are going to be like Poppy charge away, and then she pops the W, tries to just, you know, distract him from getting back into it. Leona maybe gets that the Shield of Daybreak as well, the little stun that you can get off in that melee range. Malphite, I guess, can burn ult for only Yasuo. Don't recommend unless you're really desperate. But yeah, it feels a little weird. Just feels like Yasuo should be able to take over this game pretty handedly, I would say.
Yeah, well, I mean, this does kind of then bring up what does this mid lane matchup look like? Because the top lane we can kind of expect. The Fiora gonna do pretty well into Malphite until the Bramble Vest and the Balmy Cinder, the core of Malphite, are completed, and then he just does his stand around and exist time. But the Silas into Anivia does seem like a weird matchup that I really don't know.
Yeah, so it's really dependent on how the Anivia Q comes through. If you're able to land as Silas is dashing onto you, it's actually not that bad a matchup, because generally he won't be able to W as he's stunned. You can just run away, press E, and now you've done a ton of damage that he can't reciprocate in any capacity. But if you don't hit that Q on Anivia, this matchup is so unbelievably difficult to actually try and get anything done with. Silas will just out-sustain you, out-burst you, out-trade you. And then, sure, the level 6 comes through, and Anivia's got the wave push. Silas can steal that like once every 40 seconds for no reason. But, like, he just will be a little more useful as the game progresses. Steal Malphite rather, and just kind of hit 2-3 people. Yasuo goes in, and you're setting up your team to succeed around you as well. So, it just feels like Silas favored over the course of the game as a result.
We are going to take a quick break to get ready for this final game, but Brennan, who do you have winning this one?
Oh, geez. Yasuo is the win con here, so I gotta go with rawr. I think they just, played well around that Sunny Yasuo, and I don't think Misfortune's really going to be able to get too much done this game.
Well, we'll take a quick break to get ready for game 3, but stick around to see if Brennan gets it right or, as always, is wrong once again. We will see you guys on the other side of this break. Game 3, the team's playoff hopes on the line. We are here. We do have rawr on the blue side, Going Ghost on the red side. And once again, red team looking for some funky shenanigans level 1, but it's going to be matched here. rawr also grouped for a fight.
Yeah, should be a little exciting. Hopefully these two teams do end up spotting each other somewhere along the way. But some interesting stuff happening in this game. Now, granted, I was trying to watch this game while also casting the other series, of course, but Predator for Doki. Interesting, as Brenticus just gets spotted here.
Yeah, there is the bandage toss start for the Amumu. Has the second one. Brenticus getting slowed very low, but will get out. Ignite burned just for the flash. Hex flash on Brenticus as well. So Doki not going to have it. Brenticus, what are you, buddy? Why are you here?
Wow. That's tough.
Tragic, but now the fight's going to continue. There's no way out, and it might just be a wipe here. There's the flash from Kryptonic Killer. Devontae, he got the first kill, but he might give a second kill over to rawr, or to Going Ghost, rather, as Devontae is just slowly walking his way over. Gonna actually turn back around.
Bot lane?
Somebody, here we go. Cue the Benny Hill. Yep.
Okay,
there we go. Comet will pick that one up. If that kept going, I was literally just going to Benny Hill it out. But Kryptonic Killer just going to wait for his Yasuo to show up. And we are finally going to start a game that is weird.
Yeah, I mean, that's putting it lightly. Kind of an, oh my gosh, it just keeps going.
Forward there. Kryptonic Killer getting a little bit caught out, tanking so much damage early. Might come back, but now Yasuo putting out a lot in response. The exhaust coming out really late from Good Faith, not actually going to be stopping any damage coming in.
Yeah, very aggressive already in this game for both teams. It's kind of what makes it fun, right? You end up getting a lot of bloody fights, to say the least. I mean, that level 1 says a lot about how this game will play out, and I'm very interested to see what's going to happen, as Yasuo is already out of sustain in this lane, and Misfortune at least still has that one potion.
Well, you say that,
It's
but there's
Senna.
a Senna.
Yeah, there's a Senna. Fair.
It's not the end of the world. You can kind of take those even trades and be okay. But it's still going to take a good bit, and it's going to also be taking the mana out of this Senna in the early game if the focus is just to constantly heal this Yasuo. We take a look at the top side. Business Time has not been having a good time, as the Fiora has been pretty much just running rampant all over and has been out farming pretty strongly.
Yeah. I mean, kind of how this matchup goes. I mean, we mentioned it a little bit. Malphite will do a little bit better as the game progresses, but for the time being, Fiora just kind of having a field day.
We do see Brenticus actually just kind of backing out here after being spotted on a ward. Putting that out. Yeah, and what's also interesting too is with the kill that Business Time got, a mana crystal was the first buy, as opposed to cloth armor.
Yeah, I mean, all right, to be fair, Business Time, I think, feeling pretty bad after, literally using their entire mana pool in that level 1 skirmish just with the Seismic Shard chase. But yeah, I agree. Cloth Armor would have been better.
Mana flow.
Cloth Armor definitely would have been better. Unfortunate.
Yeah, Devontae also starting to take a little bit of damage here. May want to look to go back in a second. Renaissance also, as we do see, has the cold start once again. Kind of going for that greed, kind of expecting to do well in this lane, and so far has been doing fine. As things have definitely slowed down from what was a very fast-paced and hectic level 1. We have not really seen much action since, but now here comes Doki. Now going, there is one bandage toss looking for the second here, as Good Faith going to flash away, trying to use that Leona for the body block, will succeed in doing so, and Samus is just going to walk out with his 80 carry. Doki getting the flash out of the MF against something that has as much engaged potential as the Yasuo. Very crucial.
Yeah, and ultimately, that is a successful gank. Sure, you don't get the kill, but getting that summoner spell down, we mentioned it. Misfortune, incredibly immobile, and if Yasuo is able to ever get on top of her, it's going to look super tough for Good Faith to realistically get anything done as the AD carry in this game. So definitely like seeing that coming out from Doki, and I'm interested to see, I know last game, I think it was Adam was saying, hey, Doki, please just buy boots. I'd hope that with Predator, they come out a little earlier than they did on the Zac last time around.
You never know. Doki is an enigma.
I almost used that exact word.
You can never predict anything Doki will do because it is not... It is...
Yeah.
It is. Yeah.
Oh,
Well-
wait, what the? Yeah, wait, hold on. All right. So Adam is the producer now as well, thankfully, but whispered into our ears, Doki has 3 biscuits as a jungler.
15 gold. Easy.
And what, 60 mana, right?
Yeah. Think of the stats, Brennan.
It's not worth.
Stats!
It's not even remotely worth. Yeah, that's just bad. Unlucky.
Well, regardless, it is what the Amumu is running. And we're still waiting for these level 6s coming in. Brentikus
Oh.
level 5 now.
Flash
Looking
for
to maybe
Leona.
help. Yeah, Leona is ready. Flash forward. There is the E. There is the grab. And they are on the Senna. She cannot go invisible now. And Ronan Seiya is just going to have to say goodbye to the Senna for a little bit.
Yeah, really good play coming out as well. I think a little bit of a misplay, honestly, from the Yasuo. Could have just looked to sit in front of Senna, put the wind wall up, and then Zenith Blade can never land. So there would have been no real chase down, no real threat there, but ultimately does give over a kill to Going Ghost, a much needed one at that, and they should be able to secure themselves this Drake as a result.
Dragon going to be the pickup afterwards, so a lot picked up there for Going Ghost in those last couple of seconds. Still behind on gold, though, and I think a lot of that has to do with the farm leads in that top and bot lane.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty tough to say the least, but here comes
Ronan
Poppy.
Seiya, Hex Flash over, trying to leave to go on to the Senna, but can't do so. Samus needs the help. Ronan Seiya gonna get pushed back, does not actually get stunned, and will just follow up on the last breath. Brenticus now trying to run down this Yasuo, but he's actually kiting out really
the wall.
It's the wall to get a little bit more time. Good Faith will pick up a kill as well as Kilgar, and it is a 1 for 2 that rawr are pretty upset with.
I mean, yeah, you mentioned the wall to... I don't even know what came out of your mouth. But yeah, Anivia wall did just cancel MFR. Like, Good Faith got solo queue Anivia right there. That's unfortunate. You know, my team's Anivia versus your team's Anivia, but ultimately, 2-0-2 for Good Faith, so starting to pop off a little bit with this MF pick, a little harder than I think probably should have any right to.
Yeah. I mean, look, you love to see the Anivia doing well early on.
Well, that makes one of
Some
us.
people love to see the Anivia doing well.
Shout out to
early
Finnick
on.
once again. I did this on the other broadcast. We miss you. But the only Anivia player I know, Ultimate Top.
Yeah, but Flash away, business time getting real low, and that is Devontae picking a kill up again. This top lane getting a little bit out of control. This Malphite has not had the opportunity to hit those item breakpoints yet, and maybe a little bit while longer because the tier and the mana crystal mean that that is not coming soon. Good route by Good Faith as here comes Ronan Seiya, has the last breath available, won't hit it onto the MF unfortunately, and I think that means that the Leona is going to walk away from it. Good Faith getting a little bit of good luck to help him get away.
Yeah, and it looks like no good luck coming out for rawr's bot lane.
Ronan Seiya getting a little bit low, but
That's not a question of luck anymore. Yasuo just walked back into MFR like 3 times.
it tickled. Sometimes it gives you that little bit of good pain to give you that, scratch that itch.
Okay,
know?
so I don't want to know. I really don't. Thank you, Tessa. Very cool.
What? It's not a weird thing. You're the one making it a weird thing.
Sure, we'll go with that. But as of right now, I think Going Ghost feeling pretty strong, pretty in the lead, and especially after that Curse of the Sad Mummy does not land mid lane. Like, it lands, but you got a Nivea flash, she lives. I think, honestly, Kilgar's fine with how that
It
plays out there.
landed in reality, but in spirit, it did not.
It didn't, correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's all coming up in favor of Going Ghost for the time being, so feeling, I'd say, pretty good, all things considered. But, of course, we mentioned it, the inevitability that is that Yasuo especially into the misfortune as the game progresses. One wind wall can completely warp how these fights play out.
Devontae just not having the best time now. It has kind of hit that point where the Malphite starts to get to be a little bit of a problem. This is actually one of those lanes where I'm kind of surprised we didn't see the more beefy kind of fighter Malphite where you go for the grasp and max the W. That seems like it would be really good. Maybe I'm missing something there, but it seems like it would do pretty well into the Fiora.
I mean, Comet is just a little bit better if you're looking to harass down the lane, if you think you'll have that kill threat, as Sam's going to get engaged on here.
Doki, no Curse of the Sad Mommy, as Samus actually going to get engaged back on. Does not have the tank stats just yet. And that is a clean kill on to Doki, who engages at the wrong time.
Yeah, and a really good punish of the flashless Doki.
No! Good Faith, gonna go forward. No, the last breath doesn't hit the MF again. Ronan Saya not able to get that Kryptonic Killer. Trying, will eventually run down the MF and is trying to turn onto the Leona now, but does not have the help. Ronan Saya wants to help, but cannot. Says, goodbye, friend. I will see you in a couple of seconds. Meanwhile, Devontae topside does actually pick up a good chunk of gold off of that Herald.
Yeah, it does nearly die for it, but staying alive regardless. Seismic Shard was used on the minion to try and get the move speed to catch up, but does result in Business Time not quite being able to find that kill. Yeah, I mean, it's a spicy game. We mentioned it, especially after how that level 1 panned out. We knew this was going to be bloody. There was going to be a lot of fighting. We're at a kill a minute right now, and I only expect that number to go up. Second Drake on the map for both teams, and it feels to me like Going Ghost really wants to try to push forward that soul point. And if they're able to get an early soul, right now we're looking at Hextech, Cloud, or Ocean. If it turns into Hextech or Ocean, could be a really, really big soul for Going Ghosts to kind of stake their claim in this series.
Yeah, now it's just gonna be...
No way.
Okay. No, Doki goes in, doesn't get it, and goes down right away. Once again, Doki not able to make things off of these engages, even with the Curse of the Sad Mummy. The Sad Mummy is just staying sad for the time being.
Staying sad and staying cursed, unfortunately. So, yeah, the steal not quite coming through. 2 Drakes picked up there, and now it's going to be that Hextech map, the Hextech Soul as well. Just added utility. You have slows coming out from literally everything. Misfortune can hit an auto attack and it slows 3 people. Leona hits an R and it slows people it doesn't go anywhere near. Like, this is a pretty big soul if Going Ghost is able to pick it up, but for rawr, they need to shut this down.
Yeah, there is a great solar flare from Samus, who picks up the kill, unfortunately, but it is a good kill onto the Yasuo, giving a little bit of ease pressure for Good Faith and friends.
Yeah, ultimate burn to try to clear the wave as well, but
Kryptonic? Yeah, not sure about that one. You're not the strong player in this game right now, as there is the Malphite ult on to Kilgar. Magic Clap's having to dash over the wall. Here comes Leona. Wants to go in, looking for that E. Will hit it, gets the stun. Kilgar following up, and will not actually get the kill thanks to the flash from Magic Claps. And Kilgar still vibing very happily in this lane.
Yeah, 3-0-2 right now on the Anivia. Brenticus flashing over as well, but here comes a Mumu. Doki might look for it and will not find the bandage toss. That's all that build-up with Predator and Mumu, and he just doesn't hit it. That's really unfortunate.
Yeah. Unfortunate still. Doki has not had the best of games this time. But that's still not the end of the world, because Amumu does have that late game power. He has that AoE ultimate that can be really huge.
Yeah, I mean, that's fair. But again, we were talking about it. Not having the flash, it's significantly less reliable a tool if you're not able to reposition yourself to utilize it. So we'll have to see how well Doki's able to pilot this flashless Amumu going forward. I know it's worked well for him in the past, but it's going to be tough this game.
Yeah, Ronin Saya getting very far forward. Now able to get on to Good Faith. Has the shield from Senna. Massive shield, but there's the bullet time that Good Faith will actually get the kill. Kryptonic not going to stay alive, but does take the misfortune down in the process. So a 2-for-1 that works out for Good Faith once again.
Yeah, I mean, legitimately, it's going to feel bad as this misfortune to just kind of not be able to play the game against Yasuo Senna at all, but all things considered, doing fairly well in this matchup, getting some kills, and, you know, Sam's kind of happy, going like, yeah, you know what, I support gold, woo, support econ, love to see it. Of course, we'll have to see how the itemization continues as the game progresses. I mean, we saw that shielding in that bottom lane fight. The shield bow came through, the Senna R came through as well, just a ridiculous amount of shielding. I would be surprised if Good Faith did not build a Serpent's Fang second item after seeing that, or third item, because, you know, mana means necessity, but Magic Clap's here.
Yeah, Magic Clap's just gonna get Magic Clapped and put down. Kilgar gonna get the wind wall put in his face. There is the knockup. Last Breath gonna come through, and there is the Senna to try and follow up with it. Get those slows down, but there is not gonna be a kill credit there because Kilgar flashes away for the ability to stay alive.
Yeah, understandable. I tend to agree that staying alive is better than having flash in most cases. So definitely like seeing that. Another Herald here picked up by Devante as well, so gonna be able to probably crack down that tier 1 turret after more than likely teleporting back up. But if that teleport is burned into the top lane, Fiora knows, yeah, not gonna be able to respond to this Drake push, so will actually just end up walking up. Really like to see that, as Kryptonic should just be caught here.
Yep, gonna get hit by the Leona, trying to go over to the Blast Cone, but not gonna get it in time. Brintiga's gonna use that Steadfast Presence to make sure Amumu can't get in. Walks into a Yasuo, who is very happy to see it, says, give me your money. I love the money. Not gonna get the money. Silas will get the money. Magic Clap's
Solar Flare for Silas.
Solar Flare, ready to go. Wants to use it on the MF, but I think it's just going to get used on the Leona. Good Faith hanging on the outside, maybe looking to come back in. Kilgar's going to try and help. Big Malphite ult, and they close it up. Take him down, put him in the ground, and that is going Ghost, going red hot for a win of that fight and a third dragon at 18.5 minutes.
Yeah, very, very strong fight for going Ghost here. And you mentioned Poppy walking into a Yasuo. Amumu blast coned her in. I'm not going to blame the Poppy for that one, but does end up falling early on into that fight. Fiora does end up getting this top lane tier 1, pushing for the tier 2 as well, but Brenticus is here.
Yeah, oh, the flash over into the Anivia wall. The prep, the good-to-go-ness of there with the coordination. Massive stuff, because this time gonna have to back away. This is Magic Claps trying to go forward, flashing over the wall, gonna get that shut down for Magic Claps. Good Faith burning a flash himself, waiting on the E cooldown. Bullet time is gonna get grabbed in the meantime. Magic Claps gonna back away. Doki, red buff looks good.
Yum. Yeah, I mean, honestly, this kind of is giving me Gambit vibes. Like, I think of Poppy and Nivea, and I think of Gambit. So very excited. I always like thinking of my boys. I miss them. I miss when they would be at international play. But very well executed in that top lane.
They don't exist anymore, I don't think.
They might not. I don't know. I haven't paid attention to this yet in a while.
I'm pretty sure it was just like a couple months ago. They
really
disbanded
sad.
as a LOL team.
Where's Diamond? I miss Diamond.
Yeah, Diamond has gone to another region.
Fair enough.
He has gone to Brazil.
Anyway, back to this game. This is not this is not Gambit. Regardless, very excited to see this Poppy and Nivea really putting in work. You see that combination coming through as Malphite Scott.
Or is he?
He is.
Going in on the Kryptonic Killer and now trying to back away. He is. You know, you had a point there. Bullet time is used to scare him off, and you know, Magic Clap says, I can do it better.
That was significantly worse. One almost killed a Senna, and the other was Magic Claps. So
okay, how about this? He said, I'll show you mine, you show me yours.
Okay, nope. Okay. Wow. Thanks for that, Tessa. Did not need that, but I don't even know how to come back from that, honestly. Tessa's dying.
Samus is looking for an engage here. Kryptonic Killer maybe getting caught on this ward. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I mean, I guess there's no vision there, but I'm a little surprised they didn't just look for that play. I'm just trying to force this forward. I really don't want to think about what you said. But yeah, I mean, the game's kind of stalling out a little bit as Yasuo gets stunned up mid.
Yeah, Ronan Saya trying to get away,
Wow.
uses the E, but Brenticus says, stay there. You're not going anywhere. Ramus okay.
Yeah, this is why you don't give Brenticus Poppy. Like, super comfortable on this champ. Doki gets caught.
Doki, yeah, getting hit by that E from the Leona, and we'll just back away. Bullet time, though. Big, gonna get stunned.
Wow.
Solar flares coming in. Magic Clap's gonna go down. Kilgar picking up that kill. And the tower looking like it's gonna be in a bit of trouble. Ronan Saya hitting a big knockup, but not feeling comfortable to take that last breath.
Yeah, understandably as well. Brenticus still in the area would have been tough to get through, but you've heard of WTF2 Shens. I raise you WTF2 Suns. That was really cool to look at, actually. 2 solar flares landing simultaneously as Business Time and Devante are exchanging words in the top lane for the time being.
You know, Brennan, maybe this is something you need to like talk out, but most of the time words don't include hitting each other with swords or entire mountains.
I mean, so I know Malphite is like canonically a giant mountain, but in this game, the visual representation is a tiny mountain, so he's like a hill, right? So the hill is just like moving at Sword Lady, and Sword Lady is just like trying to stab a hill. She's just stabbing grass, right? So like,
yeah. She's touching grass.
She's
even.
touching grass. It's Shamrock Malphite, right? Like, it's green, so it's
Here's
grass.
the thing, though. If you look at Fiora, you can't tell me she has no maidens.
What? Where did this come from?
Because you're behind on your meme culture here, Brennan.
I know it's a meme because Adam tells me it every day, but like, it's fine.
Regardless,
Anyway,
Brennan,
Silas is top
not
lane.
having any ability to banter alongside me, we are going to talk about the game, I guess, as there is the Malphite ult.
Huge.
Flash, Kryptonic Killer going to go down, and now the bullet time comes through, but now Ronan Say onto the backside, goes on to Good Faith. He gets out alive, but just barely. Magic Clap's grabbing a Malphite ult himself before thinking about going in. This is the soul if it is picked up by rawr, by Ghost. Why, Brennan, take over. I'm done.
Yep. I mean, Tactic Soul for going Ghost. This is kind of what we were saying. I think kind of what they needed to really like take this game over. And I think Brenticus has been playing this so well. Business Time, I mean, we saw that ultimate, the combination that came through from the Malphite Poppy just devastating the backline of rawr. Like, this is exactly what needs to happen for Going Ghost to take this game 3, push themselves to next week's play, and knock rawr out.
Our producer is trolling us in our ears. It is hard to focus at this point.
He's just saying "yep" on repeat.
He's just saying,
Like,
yep.
Yep. Like, literally. Over
This man speaks in Twitch chat vocabulary, so it's very
times
hard
I've
to
gotten
actually.
nothing but bedge in my DMs from Adam is kind of ridiculous.
See, the best part is we can absolutely just talk mad game about him, and he can't stop us. As speaking of can't be stopped, the unstoppable force, Magic Clap's trying to get a kill. Good Faith will stay alive. Healo's going to be burned by Kryptonic Killer, but he's going to go down, and Magic Clap's unfortunately gets a support killed. Support, yeah, kind of.
Senna is a support. Okay, fasting Senna isn't real. It's just Senna support with some like really troll AD carry. I've been saying this since Senna was released and people started calling it, quote, fasting Senna. It's not fasting Senna. It's just support Senna and you can play whatever with it. But regardless, yeah, I mean, it's a decent attempt. He's doing it again. Help. It's a decent attempt for Magic Claps, I think, but it's a little ill-timed. Just basically you're the only one there trying to one-shot the MF, sure, but you die regardless if you do that and if you commit to it. So rightfully flashes away, realizes, wait, I'm in too deep, and then still Kryptonic Killer dies for his sins. That's like, that feels the worst. Like, when your teammate is the reason you die.
So I want to be entirely clear here. Despite the kill, you look at the kills here and you'd say, wow, Ghost are massively ahead. And then you actually look at the gold and it's only about 5k.
I mean, okay, it's 5k at
It's 5k. Don't get me wrong. 5k is a good amount to be down, but when you look at 25 to 9, I would expect more.
Yes. I mean, part of that, though, you mentioned it earlier in the game, just comes from the CS differentials, specifically looking at top and bot lane. Top lane in particular is 60 CS up. Now it's dropping to 50 as a result of the wave being picked up, but bot lane as well, 60 CS up for Yasuo. Like, there is so much gold just from the creep score alone that is kind of neutralizing this gold lead a lot more than it probably should be.
Yeah, so now Ren and Seiya actually getting caught out by this wall from the Anivia. Takes a good chunk of damage, but Kryptonic Killer Doki hanging around crying for no reason. He does have the blue buff, so I guess that's fine. But
He's just really sad.
yeah, I mean, look, I won't blame him entirely because the amount of times that I've played any kind of champ that has a toggle ability and I can't tell whether or not it's on is really depressing. I have lost so many kills playing Singed because I don't realize I have the poison off. Doki, though, not having the tears on right now, and maybe would have wanted them, will go down trying to defend this tower. Magic Clap's now holding on, just barely. Gonna get hit by that solar flare. Kilgar puts the wall down to try and get a little bit of protection for his team, and that is just gonna be Tonic Killer going down as well. Good Faith and Kilgar are massive.
Yeah, and I think that should just be the game. I don't think Yasuo's got enough in the tank. 1, 6, and 6 has the 2-item spike, sure, but between that and Devante having the Hull Breaker, that's basically an item that's not doing anything at this point as a result of being clumped with your teammate.
Oh, Poppy looking to split him up. Wants to make sure they get use out of that. Actually, good. Riposte there will buy a lot of time, but unfortunately, Yasuo not happy to help. And now here comes the Yasuo going in with the last breath. Doki also going to be going down. Going Ghost. They're going to take the win, and they're going to knock rawr out of the playoffs here. Kryptonic Killer wants to get the shutdown for it. There's the bullet time for Magic Claps, but it doesn't matter. The Nexus is gone, and that's all you need to take. Going Ghost are your winners for the night, and we'll move on in our playoffs. Brennan can't hear us. We love to have that happen.
Yeah.
Riot,
The Discord
Riot
crash.
is
Love to hear it.
very, very enjoyable to deal with, leaving the game and going into the client after on your Discord call. Something weird goes on there, so apologies for that. But now, Brennan, I can correctly tell you that you were once again wrong. All right, guys. Well, it's been nice talking to you. It's very... Get back here. Talk about the damn game. Do your job.
I hate it here. I just get bullied. Yeah, I mean, they did well. Like, I said it, I don't think that Good Faith should have been able to play the game and ended with a scoreline of 10-2 and 15, so I ate my own words for sure. The lane phase looked rough. I mean, the CS deficit in particular, like, says a lot about how that lane played out. Run and say a 234, Good Faith only 159. Adam is just sending me one heads on repeat. I don't know what to do with this information, but additionally, Brenticus looked really, really strong on the Poppy, and Kilgar kind of was a silent killer that game. 8-0 and 8 on the Anivia, doing really, really well as well. So overall, just a really strong performance in that third game coming out from Ghost.
Yeah, really good stuff. I mean, Ghost, they did have that falter in game 2, but I think game 1 and game 3 were slow but methodical. There wasn't much room for rawr to do anything. It was just kind of rawr getting some good momentum in game 2 made things really difficult for them. So Going Ghost definitely seemed to be pretty strong, at the very least, going against a team like rawr, and I'm excited to see what that means for them going into next week.
Yeah, they will be playing up against G&E Aquamarine next week as well. The winner of that will be facing the loser of Imperial Gaming versus MDF. Both games, of course, will be covered next week. IG versus MDF, specifically, best of 5 on ZGG1 next Thursday. G&E Going Ghost will be a best of 3 on ZGG2, where you're at right now next Thursday. So, very exciting games. We're now down to the final 4.
Absolutely. But we will see you guys next week for that, hopefully. And thank you guys all for watching. I have been Thousand Eyes. I've been here this whole time. Adam has been producing the whole time, but apparently got sick of talking to me. And Brennan, thank you for showing up and making things work at the end of the day for this final game of the night. Thank you guys for watching, and we will see you all next week.